in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Your sprinklers are watering the street or flooding your backyard. If you're on a list that doesn't exist, it's time for Judson Irrigation. At Judson Irrigation, Lee or Lacey or Judson will make an appointment. You pick the time and they'll be there to fix your sprinkler system. Now that's service, a dying art these days.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
MWR, a local company of Lincoln, is proud to announce they are able to offer their own post-frame building packages in metal to anyone desiring a building, whether you're a contractor or a DIYer. They can install your building as always, and they offer multiple different rib profiles and loads of color options, including the wood grain metal at great competitive prices. You can inquire at mwrbuildingandfence.com or just draw your desired building and submit it in their contact us page and they'll get back to you. Call MWR today at 402-540-8966.
Imagine if the people who work at your bank or neighbors who could help with a home loan.
Congratulations, you're approved.
Or friends who love to shop local.
Have a good one.
At UBT, who you work with matters just as much as what you're working toward.
Hey, thanks for helping.
That's why your money has more than a banker. It has people. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Sandhills Global is growing right here in Lincoln. With our expanding campus and continued growth, we're hiring across a wide range of careers, from interns to experienced professionals. Join the team at Sandhills Global and build your career with competitive pay, great benefits, and real opportunities to grow. Visit sandhills.jobs to view openings and apply today. That's sandhills.jobs.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Hi, Husker Nation. This is Rex Burkhead. On Lincoln Gives Day, I hope you'll join me in supporting the Team Jack Foundation and their mission to fund life-saving childhood brain cancer research. Kids and families facing brain cancer deserve better treatments and more hope for the future. Every donation helps move that mission forward. You can make your gift today by visiting givetolincoln.com and searching Team Jack. I'm proud to support the Team Jack Foundation and the fight for every child and family affected by brain cancer.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln, this is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped and picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black Shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Hour one of Old School is sponsored by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yes, indeed. Welcome into a full Friday show. Did not expect to be here at this point yesterday, but here we are. No state baseball on the air today. Championship games come your way tomorrow, 12, 3:30, and 7. But for the time being, this is Old School, brought to you by the good folks over at Graham Tire Company, proudly serving the Midwest for 75 years. 4 Lincoln locations. Check them out for great service, from brakes to oil changes and everything in between. You can trust Graham Tire for service you can count on. I'm Austin Norman. He is Jay Foreman. This is indeed Old School, and you can be a part of the show, 402-464-5685. Jay, I've heard plenty of complaining from other people about state baseball being canceled, ruining their afternoon. I only plan to be here for an hour. You're here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, it's you can't control Mother Nature. And
judging by this morning, it was the right choice. Judging by right now, it was a horrible choice. It's kind of like a snow day. So,
right.
You want to give the kids the best opportunity. And this is not just, class A, it's everybody. So you want to make sure everybody gets the best chance to, have a success at trying to win a state championship. So, it's another 24 hours. They've been waiting, it seems like forever. I mean, obviously you got the softball team and the baseball team are in the same boat. So you got to make sure that you are, keeping things in perspective.
Softball getting underway here in just about an hour, a resumption of last night's game. Baseball pushed back until TBD. Still don't know. No official word from the Big Ten, but the game ahead of Nebraska won't start, until 6 o'clock. So it could be a rather late night out there at Charles Schwab Field. Again, 402-464-5685 if you want to be a part of the show. Jay, let's just go ahead and dive right into it. Speaking of giving kids, young student athletes, the best chance of success, is the transfer portal necessarily doing that? You came up with some pretty interesting numbers that you found at the Division I level, sure, but especially down at Division II and Division III levels that paint a pretty dire picture.
Yeah, I mean, just to get right into it, I mean, the portal was in theory, and it's something that should have been happening before, maybe not to this magnitude, right? But and everybody's thinking about D1. I was fortunate enough to be a Division I football player at Nebraska, and obviously we were very successful, and I did okay myself. But and I'm always very honest with people. Probably after that Florida game, probably if I presented, I probably and especially I probably would have left, and it had nothing to do with the team. It had to do with another person involved in the program. You know what I'm saying? And
sure.
that was been a very immature decision. But
understandable, but immature.
Immature. Now there were guys I would say that probably could have went other places if they chose and had the opportunity in the portal and been really, really successful. You think about a Clinton Childs that if he went to any other school in the Big 12, he's running for well over a G. You got to think of Damon Benning, probably, he's not splitting time with Amon Green. And now, look, it worked out for everybody, but we're just talking about if this was the portal. But people didn't really talk about, I remember back at UNO, correct me if I'm wrong, text line, they had a pretty decent receiver. His name was Marte Jenkins, I think, at UNO.
Okay.
And I think he was. And I think he went to the Cardinals. But just think if he was able to transfer up to, maybe a Kansas State or something like that in the portal or something like that. Well, now you look at it, the portal's like you hear about all these guys going in the portal, getting all this money. Carson Beck getting $4 million, and all these guys, Sorsby getting $5 million. Then he, obviously wasn't able to cash in on it, and everybody else, Mensa and everybody like that, right? People forget to talk about, even the FCS guys, right? What happens to them now? Generally, they are able to level up, but some of them go in the portal, being told that they have a spot to go to, can't go back. And just like Division II, which is the alarming number is 62% of the players that go into the portal from the Division II level end up retiring.
Ooh.
And then it's even worse. At Division III, those kids that go into the portal, 73% of them end up retiring. And I think retiring means that you don't play again and you don't finish out your eligibility. So now I will say this. I think of however many kids are in the portal, especially let's go Power 4.
Okay. Well, I have some numbers on that.
Okay. I'm gonna give my opinion. Okay. I think strongly 70% of them are pushed in the portal.
Ah. Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's being told, hey, you could stay, we'll accept you, but you don't have a chance. Maybe you haven't really progressed as much. Maybe you got a little, kind of, some injuries or whatever, or a change in coaching philosophy, or they just don't think you're that good anymore, right?
Or a parent or advisor says, "Hey, you go get
advisor.
some."
But I'm talking about nudging that way, or the treatment to the, they just kind of make you feel like an outsider. Then you think now some of it is maybe you need to see if you can tough it out. But I think a high percentage of those guys in the portal, whatever number you have, majority of them go in the portal, and then I think there's a percentage in there that jump in the portal because they think that's the thing to do. And then also I think there's a percentage of a lot of those guys in the portal love getting recruited more than they like playing football. And then there's the percentage that we see that should go in the portal, right? Hoover to Indiana, right?
Mendoza to Indiana.
Mendoza, but I'm just talking this year.
Yeah.
Right? You have a coach that probably in Dykes that was, if he's going to voice like that, generally coaches don't tune you up like that, right?
No.
And I don't know what the numbers were there. Maybe he didn't play up to snuff, tune you up like that. You probably needed to go in the portal. Indiana needed a quarterback. So it's kind of those situations are a very, very small percentage in my mind.
So the numbers got run about exactly a month ago now. Manny Navarro writing for The Athletic. This is just FBS football transfers, so this isn't overarching. But FBS football transfers, so the 2025 year, essentially, 3,264 FBS scholarship players entered the transfer portal. 3,264 of them. 85%, just shy of 2,800, transferred and received aid. 12% remained active in the portal, which means they either returned to school or stopped playing football, and 3% transferred to a new school and did not receive aid. So 85% of FBS only transfers received some sort of aid at their new school, essentially got their scholarship back, did the bare minimum in transferring for a lateral move. That's up from 81% in 2024 and 77% in 2023. So let's play this out then, Jay. That's an extra 8% over the last 2 years that's been added of like FBS to FBS transfers that are still getting aid, which means there's that much less of a percentage for kids to jump from FCS to FBS, which means there's that much less of a percentage for kids to jump from D2 to FCS,
right,
and that much less of a percentage jump from D3 to D2.
Right.
The compounding effects are there is that just we talk about it with head coaching jobs all the time, especially at the NFL level, there for a while. It's just musical chairs is what it's turning into at this point. No, I'm good enough. I'm talented enough. Some other school at this level will give me a chance. It's just not going to be here. And so it's more reshuffling, per level, more so than actually like jostling, like mixing the full salad up and getting everything tossed around.
Yeah, and you haven't even taken into account the high school kids that are trying to get recruited at the Division III, Division II, FCS, and obviously the Power Four or whatever you want, or just big time Division I. I mean, and they get the really short end of the stick, and that's in every sport as we're seeing. And actually, I think the only sport that actually it helps is like baseball, but we'll get into another day.
Maybe.
But yeah, I mean, I think this portal thing. I mean, again, like I text you in 20 years from now, when maybe college football is blown up and they like, okay, we actually have a committee, we actually have a college football president, we actually work with the NCAA, and everybody's like, all right, you know what? Either we get together or the money's going to dry up. Let's really actually start to get together. And then you'll have a 60 minutes or a 30 for 30 on it. And it'll talk about the portal and who came up with the original idea, what was really supposed to be the original idea, where the mishaps and missteps were. And then when the ball started rolling downhill, nobody was willing to stop the avalanche before it really became unstoppable and just blew up the whole, city, which is now college football. Now it's great right now because the kids are getting paid, the coaches are getting paid, and TV contracts seem to be coming up. And you got the two big dogs, fighting over it, and you got 12 teams. But what about the FCS kids? What about the kids that need 2 or 3 years? To develop? Because also when you think about it, you used to think that you could go to and it still might be an option. You could go to a South Dakota State, develop for a couple of years, play there, be just fine. We've seen Alex Bullock do that. We've seen some guys go from here and do it. But now they're so good, right, in North Dakota State. Now you could probably pick one of those, but we're just talking about the ones that we know. They're so good, they don't really have time for you to develop. And so it's a trickle-down effect because they're trying to emulate, some of the, they're a national championship caliber FCS team. They have great players. They put guys in the pros, and in some cases just as much as some of the Power Four. So really, when you go into the portal, if you don't have a place to go, you better be able to play that game. And then also, I think this is also the percentages. Obviously, I don't know what percentage of the percentages from the 62% at Division II, the 73% in Division III. If you put all in there, I think a big percentage of those kids, and there's kids that are still playing and on scholarship that really don't love football and don't like to compete. And that's just a byproduct of who these kids are right now. You get what I'm saying? But because they like to come to college and have a pathway just laid out for them, and it's just kind of like just go through the motions, and next thing you know, I'm number one pick. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, not how it works.
Right. That's not
Never
that
been
would
how it
never work that way. Doesn't matter what they do. Football would never change. And so I don't know what you do. I don't know what the solution is. You know what the only solution to this is?
Get rid of college football.
Just stop for a year. Stop college football, but then what? But we're right back in COVID.
Yeah, I mean, you're just locked out.
Yeah, you're just locked out, but you still have eligibility left. So then
Yeah.
now you're really what you're gonna have to do, I think, is segment different parts of this problem, and everybody has to be honest, right? Which, as we see,
Good luck with that.
We've seen with NIL, some teams are being honest, like Nebraska, and some people aren't. And if segment it out and say, what are the pros and cons, and what do we need to do to fix it? And then what could come down the pipe based on this decision right now, which they didn't do the first time.
No.
And then you kind of do that. Then you can kind of really lessen the damage that's being done right now, or has been done, or will be done.
Has there been enough damage done to the point that you can say the transfer portal is a top 5 worst thing to happen to college football?
Oh,
top 3?
Easily.
Worst thing ever to happen to college football?
No.
To the sport as a whole, right? Not within individual programs or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's probably top 5. And it's hard because, I like the option. I think it should be option. I don't think, I mean, I like the option, to have the portal, but I think the way the abuse of it has made it one of the worst decisions ever. And I think that's not even the people that are taking advantage of it right now. It's actually the people that made the decision, because they are highly compensated and been, very well compensated for years and probably decades, you know what I mean? And so that, and then you throw the NIL in there, and then, the NIL is a byproduct of the coaches. You can't pay players, which you already can't pay. You can't have a player making $5 million and you got a coach making $1 million, head coach.
Well, why not? It happens in pro leagues.
It does, but doesn't happen in college football, because I think when you look at college football, where is somebody making more than head coach at a big time power, like a blue blood?
Well, I'm just saying, if college football is starting to look more and more like the NFL in terms of postseason, in terms of player acquisition.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, it's weird if a coach is making more than a player in some of these cases. I mean, I know like NBA salaries are really bloated. NFL's a little different with the salary cap. Baseball's different. But aside from like the vet men, I mean, pretty much all those players are making more than the coach.
Yeah, the position coaches for sure.
Right. Well, and even some of the head coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, let's say
you mean in the NFL?
NFL.
Oh, for sure.
NBA too.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do it, but again, they're unionized, right?
That's
but in college, you got to think, what do we always, when you think about Alabama, you don't think about, their quarterback that's making $2 million this year, right? You think about DeBoer. When you think about Nebraska, you generally think about Matt Rule. When you think about Bama, you thought about Saban. When you think about Ohio State, you think about Ryan Day. Now, Jeremiah Smith is there. He's probably closest to Ryan Day, but Ryan Day has already doubled him up, then some, as far as pay.
Yeah.
College is about the head coach. Yeah, we just talked about
college basketball too.
Yeah, so that's the difference. And that will never change, because the college coaches, they go let that happen, right? And so in the pros, it's more of a, look, college football is dressing up. They're more than just dressing up as pros. They're trying to really emulate it, but there's some things they will never be able to get to. Number one, it costs them too much money to, insure 105 players versus 60 something, as far as practice squad and everything else.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes into it, but yeah, I mean, it's up there, and they're trying to do the 5 for 5. So I think that's it. That's, somewhat of a solution. we'll see if they hold true and see who can kind of, wiggle their way around it, and will they grandfather this gap year here in 2026? Because my argument is, okay, if you're going into this, right, with 5 for 5, right, and I was only to go 5 for 4, right, or play 4, why am I going to get penalized when the rule is already essentially in effect?
And the argument would be technically it's not in effect yet. It's all but in effect,
right?
But it's not. And the other argument I would push back on is, okay, you hit the boom of the NIL era,
sure.
So why do you get both when others got none? This group gets one. Why do you get 2?
Right, but why do I have to stop being compensated when this other group is going to be compensated as well? I should be. Well, that's how you got
back and forth with
guys. Getting an extra year for JUCO. You just need one little crack in the system, and you're going to get flooded with guys, coming back and wanting to play. So it's a tough situation. I think that the powers that be are really hands off once they got that Supreme Court, ruling against them, obviously years ago, which seems crazy. I remember we were in here, and I think Thomas Fedoni sent out the first. It was July 1st, right?
I think so.
It was July 1st
or June 1st or July 1st. One of the two.
And it was like, hey, I'm open to any opportunities. And they were starting camp in like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So everybody was trying to get this NIL thing going, and then now players are making millions. Players are, signing card deals and stuff like that.
Card and car.
Yeah, card and cards. And who was Carson Beck had the private jet NIL thing. I think maybe that was at Georgia, or maybe it was when he was at Miami. So it's definitely a change in the sport, and that in theory was going to be a positive, but I think it's obviously turned out to be a negative.
So I'll have one follow-up, and then I'll throw something else into the discussion here. Number one, I'm completely with you on the transfer portal in that I love that kids have the option, but at what cost? Because if this is what it looks like, it's a problem. Because I don't think that if head coaches can move, we should be able to see players have their ability to move limited too. We should have known. I'm baffled that we're surprised by the fact that with the addition of not just the transfer portal, but the money, we figured kids were getting induced to enter the portal for a promise of a payday before. Now it's legal essentially to do, and you can have all the anti-tampering rules you want in the world. But if there's not a viable enforcement agency there, which we can get back to in our next segment a little bit as well, then it's not going to do any good. What the transfer portal has turned into is probably to some degree what it was always destined to become, because you did always have that kind of black market underpinning, pay to play stuff going on. And so now it just got brought to light. And instead of saying, oh, we don't like this being out in the open, it's, oh, wait, in some ways, this is how it always should have been. And I don't disagree with that. But there's a lot of using the transfer portal for good, a lot of using it for very selfish reasons. And it's going to be incredibly difficult to end up striking that balance. The other thing I'll throw out there, Jay, and I was reading about this from a Matt Norlander piece that I had to really follow back on. And we'll get to this a little bit more with the Big Ten and the SEC. I found the quote from Jamie Pollard that you were talking about yesterday, which I think we can play and get into. But the other thing that I think is an interesting discussion point for quote unquote worst things to happen to college athletics, maybe one of the worst things to happen to Nebraska, but NCAA versus Oklahoma Board of Regents back in the day, that was the case that essentially said limiting the number of times teams can play on TV, it violates antitrust law.
Yeah.
Long story short. And I clicked on the Wikipedia thing that Norlander linked to and didn't get all of it. But the last line of the last paragraph of this Wikipedia entry, in 2023, Andy Coates, the lawyer who had represented Oklahoma and Georgia and won the case, admitted to NBC News that the ruling screwed up college football across the board, but I don't think anyone could have predicted what would have happened. Doesn't seem like a bad thing at the time to get more schools on TV, for college football to want to grow, to have more different teams on TV every week, as opposed to just, you can be on TV once a year and we'll rotate it around and cycle it through. But putting more games on TV, putting more schools on TV led to more realization and possibility that, hey, look at all this money that's out there. Look all the attention we can draw. And again, back in the 80s when this was getting decided, how in the world were you supposed to know that this was going to happen? But it did. So unintended consequences that you could never see coming. Yeah, that's one point of it. But I think it's also then fair to argue that that seems to be maybe the more modern college football turning point of this is where the money really started infiltrating.
Yeah, I mean, when you make these decisions, you're like, oh, it's just a little bit. It's only going to sting. Right?
It's just a couple games on TV.
Yeah, it's a little butter knife cut. Well, then that thing is a full-fledged machete right now.
Nicked an artery.
You're right, and you're just hanging on with it. And you're looking for John Rambo to tie it and try to cut it off. And it's amazing how something like that can happen and not even think twice about it. You get what I'm saying? And it's really interesting when stuff like this, comes about, because you're able to go back and see the quotes, how it started, and how it's ending, and it's still going. It's actually gaining momentum right now. And so that's what's also interesting is, like, you look at where it started. It's almost like when I don't know, I hate to say it, the Vrabel and Diana Rossini thing, they go back and you see some old stuff. Well, in the real time, it's like, it wasn't a big deal, right? It was, you see, people trying to be funny. Next thing you know, it's a full-fledged, ordeal. And so there's a lot of other decisions. The portal, I think it, when you think about when they expanded the TV networks, it was great. Then you lost I wouldn't say tradition, but you lost a little bit of the development of players in college football, because if a kid, say for instance me, I know I played and started as a freshman, but just say I would have had to wait until my junior year just because I had players in front of me. I need to, and I couldn't say wasn't able to come in and play Sam right away. I had to develop and get bigger, faster, and stronger to play middle linebacker. I'm 3 years in college.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? For sure.
Yeah.
And working my tail off. Well, if that was the case, right, that I wasn't able to play Sam outside linebacker early in my career at, like 205, 210, until I continued to physically mature in that third year, then, maybe I would have went to Northern Illinois, but that's on TV. That's close, about the same.
Yeah.
Or maybe I would have went to Kansas State. You know what I'm saying? Versus you come to Nebraska and you wait. And that was it. I think it had more positives and negative versus the portal. But then also, I think the portal was thought as a little bit more freedom for the players as NIL. But then quietly, and no coach will ever say this, because they would never be able to recruit another player to get really good players or even average players anymore.
Yeah.
It's an easy way to cut guys.
Sure.
And that's not what the portal was set up for. But the problem, what I always say is, when we talk about recruiting and you talk about NIL and what the players are playing, and by no means I'm saying don't pay the players.
Right.
I'm
Never
here to
what you
tell you
said.
the honest to God truth, because I see these players. I see them. I evaluate them. I watch a lot of tape or whatever. There's just not a lot of good football players out there. Period. They're just not. You get what I'm saying? There's a lot of, the depth of athletes are there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of kids are coming out of high school maxed out. Right?
Yeah.
So they look, but when you talk about, I'm talking about football players, guys that, eat, sleep, drink football, that are really invested in football, that are, you know what I'm saying? That's why you see some teams that are constantly in the running, because they have time and they have the support to develop that, but then also they're, working with a little bit of a head start, whether it's their geographic location or what they, I guess, accumulated when they became head coach, meaning you already had, like Mario Cristobal, right? He's probably the one that really had to grind it out. A lot of the guys that got drafted this year, I saw as a freshman. I saw Bain as a freshman.
Yeah.
I saw the big tackle as a freshman. Matter of fact, his brother was a heck of a linebacker. I remember being on the sidelines and hearing Dabo Sweeney going off of Kate Klubnik because the linebacker's brother tackled him in overtime. And they all were freshmen, or sophomore, or freshmen. They were very young. I had to go back and, and see when my dad went into the Ring of Fame. But that's because of Manny Diaz not being successful, but recruited well enough to have a good starting point. You know what I'm saying? That normally doesn't happen. And so that's where you're a little bit ahead of the curve versus other teams, when you have a new regime coming in.
Joey McGuire, appreciate you. Joey McGuire, John and Cortland, sorry, appreciate you chiming in. Joey McGuire is going to be an example that I could give here coming up to answer Tom J. Says college coaches are generally under a long-term contract. College athletes can simply be seen as year-to-year paid mercenary players. Given that scenario, why would the college player make more than the coach? And I'll issue a retraction. I don't know how many college players are getting paid more than the head coach at their specific institution. I'm sure that there are some high-profile players getting paid more than like a MAC head coach or something to that effect. But my point was, and I'll phrase it better this time, there's no reason we can't or wouldn't see the right college football player make more. Again, the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. The best players in college football, if they were ever to enter the transfer portal, could conceivably make more than their head coach, right? Is anyone clearing 13 mil to pass Kirby? Is anyone clearing 12 mil to pass Ryan Day? I don't think Jeremiah Smith's getting 12 mil at Ohio State. Could he get 12 mil from Miami for 1 year if they think they're one piece away? Likely, no. Possible, yes. And my other main point was it just seems like it could happen, in this day and age with the way that the money is flowing. Again, you think about, Justin Jefferson's salary as opposed to Kevin O'Connell's salary.
Yeah.
You think about TJ Watt's salary as opposed to Mike McCarthy's salary.
Yeah.
And again, you raise a great point. They're unionized. Players get X percentage of the revenues, and that goes such a long way. And who knows if we'll ever get that or when we'll get that in college. But with craziness around NIL, I mean, what do we know for a fact that David Bailey was making less than Joey McGuire last year? I mean, Joey McGuire's making $7 million. That's pretty good. Or started at $6.5 million, averages $7 million. I would guess David Bailey made a few million, in rev share, plus whatever in NIL. So he's probably at least in the ballpark. And if a team thinks they're a piece away, they think they can drum up the support for it. Obviously, not every player will be paid more than the head coach. Obviously, it would take an absolute superstar stud to do it. But, Arch Manning is making $5.4 million in NIL, according to the valuation. Now, that's half of what his head coach is making, but I'm sure that's more than plenty of head coaches across the country. So it kind of happens right now. Certainly not everywhere and for everyone, but it's got to be at least on the table.
Well, he's making more than the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Right. So essentially, a lot of the offensive coordinators are essentially your offensive head coach.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. And I'd like to probably think that their defensive end down there at Texas, I think his last name is Brooks. He's probably making as much as a defensive coordinator. And the young man at South Carolina, I know for a fact, is getting paid more than their defensive coordinator at South Carolina because they had to keep him.
Yeah.
So in that case, it is like the NFL. You got guys making more than their head coach.
Yeah.
So for me, my head coach would have been McBride.
Coach McBride.
Right. So, Coach Osborne, the Boss Hog, or whatever you want. So, yeah, it's interesting. And, we shall see, man. I mean, it's something that's going to be, if we could pin this conversation, hopefully we're still here at 1040 O Street doing our thing together, old school, like we always do it. And we're able to look back and like, okay, this is where now we get to play. You know what I'm saying? To push play.
Yeah.
And find out who was behind it. Because there is one person that let this go on that I guarantee you, there's one or two people that could have stopped this thing. You know what I'm saying? And was like, my check is still clearing. Go right ahead.
I wonder if we have the same person in mind. Let's hear from Iowa State AD Jamie Pollard and see if Jay and I are on the same page when we get back to Old School. Brought to you by Graham Tire. They've got a great Memorial Day sale coming your way here over this weekend. You'll hear about that. That's our first commercial. Big thanks to Graham Tire.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Graham Tire Company is celebrating 75 years of serving its neighbors throughout the Midwest. And to say thank you, they're giving you a $75 instant rebate on a set of 4 select tires during their Memorial Day tire sale event. You can stack on even more savings with big mail-in rebates on select tires from Goodyear, Cooper, and Hankook. And remember, all tires are on sale right now, making this the perfect time to upgrade before summer driving begins. Hurry in today. Graham Tire, your tire store next door.
Your sprinklers are watering the street or flooding your backyard. If you're on a list that doesn't exist, it's time for Judson Irrigation. At Judson Irrigation, Lee or Lacey or Judson will make an appointment. You pick the time and they'll be there to fix your sprinkler system. Now that's service, a dying art these days.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Man, whenever I use a sports book, I feel like I'm just getting robbed blind.
Dude, you've got to delete that app. You need to be using Polymarket.
Polymarket? How are they any different?
Polymarket is a prediction market, not a sports book. You trade against other fans just like you, not the house. That means more money for you and less for those greedy sports books.
For real?
Yep. Sports books take around $9 on a $100 position and then pay out around $500. Polymarket pays out $650 on that same position.
What's the catch?
No catch. Even better, it's available in all 50 states. Polymarket is so confident that you'll never go back, they're giving you $50 free on your first trade.
I'm deleting my sportsbook app. How do I get started?
Download Polymarket now and use promo code HEAT for $50 free for your first trade. Stop letting sportsbooks steal from you. Download Polymarket and use promo code HEAT for $50 free on your first trade. Use promo code HEAT.
Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply.
At Cedars, we're here to make sure that kids have the safety and stability that every child deserves, where they're protected and where they feel safe. You make this possible. Today, more than ever, we need your support to be here for kids who have nowhere else to call home. Now through May 28th, make a big impact through Give to Lincoln. Give to Cedars now at givetolincoln.com.
Hi, Husker Nation. This is Rex Burkhead. On Lincoln Gives Day, I hope you'll join me in supporting the Team Jack Foundation and their mission to fund life-saving childhood brain cancer research. Kids and families facing brain cancer deserve better treatments and more hope for the future. Every donation helps move that mission forward. You can make your gift today by visiting givetolincoln.com and searching Team Jack. I'm proud to support the Team Jack Foundation and the fight for every child and family affected by brain cancer.
Sean's Mobile DOT inspection reminds listeners that our troops return home. Many are left unemployed and deserted. Over 1 million veterans across the United States are currently looking for jobs despite having special skills and elite military training. Let us welcome troops with open arms and make 2026 a year to hire smart, hire vets. Sean's Mobile DOT inspection. For all your inspection, mobile truck repair, mobile truck services, and trailer repair, call the pros. 402-880-2425. Sean's Mobile DOT inspection. On the air because they care.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
MWR, a local company of Lincoln, is proud to announce they are able to offer their own post-frame building packages in metal to anyone desiring a building, whether you're a contractor or a DIYer. They can install your building as always, and they offer multiple different rib profiles and loads of color options, including the wood grain metal at great competitive prices. You can inquire at mwrbuildingandfence.com or just draw your desired building and submit it in their contact us page, and they'll get back to you. Call MWR today at 402-540-8966.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at WindowWorldLincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
A single mom of 3 was facing eviction, struggling with a recent separation, health issues, and no job or childcare. She feared losing everything, especially her children. But then she found support in her community made possible by Nebraska Children and Families Foundation. She was connected to support. By the end, her bills were paid, she left her new job, and hope replaced fear. This is what the Nebraska Children and Families Foundation does. They lift up young people and families so they can find stability, build brighter futures, and power a stronger workforce. Ready to help make more stories like this come true? Support the Nebraska Children and Families Foundation on Give to Lincoln Day.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is Old School. Austin Orman and Jay Foreman with you. I'll tell you more about Heartland of Nebraska Windows here in just a minute. Jay, I do want to get to that quote, that clip from Jamie Pollard. He was speaking at an event recently and in a media scrum. Here's what he had to say about what you brought up yesterday, the Big Ten and the SEC potentially breaking away from the rest of the Power Four.
It's frustrating because collectively the four conferences created the CSC, and we spent a lot of money. The four commissioners spent a lot of money creating the CSC. And so then to have two of the conferences not want to adhere to it is perplexing to me, because then it's like, well, why did we spend the money? If you didn't want rules, then why did you create this entity? That's what's frustrating to me. The same people that say they want rules only want rules if they don't apply to them. I mean, I said it 3 years ago. Let them break away. I'd say I would turn it around and say we should break away from them. Let them go, but they have to go in all their sports and see how fun it is to play baseball and softball and track when it's just the 20 of you, and that's what I think we should do. But I'm one person, and, that's probably a little more draconian, but that's how I feel about it. Like, let's quit talking about it. Quit threatening. Go do it. But if you're going to do it, you don't get to just do it in football and then keep all your other sports with us. No, take them all. See how fun it is.
Jay, I know that's something you've brought up from time to time is, well, why can't football just be different? It's the biggest money earner. It takes up the bulk of the calendar, really from, mid-July through mid-January at this point for college football. It's talked about year round. Let's just take Jamie Pollard at his word. If it was up to him, all the sports would leave. Do you think a football only split would be possible? Would it be better if the Big Ten and the SEC are going to split to take all their sports with them? What do you react to that quote from Jamie Pollard?
I think those two, I think the two conferences go off on their own football wise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's enough there. They would need I said about 56 teams. I like that number 56. I think 56 teams would be good enough. And then I think if you want to expand that, I'm all for the regulation and deregulation. And then you could have TV contracts based on that. You can have financial budgets based on that as well, right? Reset of college football. But if they try to take all the sports and go off, and it actually probably would get to what I say we need. Hey, you guys need timeout. Really, what he said right there, we spent a lot of money for this. You were in agreement. And then when the rules don't apply to you don't want to adhere to the rules, you just take your ball and go home. What is that? A petulant child, right?
Yep.
A arrogant, entitled punk. That's what he's saying, right? Because they're selfish, thinking about themselves. So what do when you have a kid? You send him over there and timeout. In this day and age, kids do this timeout age. This is the timeout parenting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because that wasn't happening that wasn't happening with Chuck Foreman. He just either give you a look, the glasses will come down, and you start popping off. Then that belt start popping real quick too. So you can't do that in college football. So I'm all for if they want to break off. Let's see where it's at. Probably save a lot of heartache. You can tell with what he's saying. He was frustrated, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's frustrated and he's under a lot of pressure. He's under a lot
of pressure. Mm-hmm.
He's under and it's not even. I wouldn't say it's bad pressure. He's done a really good job. They have limited resources. Their iconic coach just got a job that he couldn't turn down. He had to scramble and get, I think, Washington State's coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably
who they had just gotten from South Dakota State not that long ago,
right? And there is a little bit of history there, but ultimately, when you're, I think it was on a Sunday. He said he's like, I didn't expect to be coming into work to do this, and
right.
You know what?
Right.
He had a true relationship with Coach Campbell, so he's hurt, right? And then also on top of that, business wise. And there's probably some friends that he knows that are ADs that he feels like have backstabbed him.
Yeah.
And so when you hear him, and you can hear it in his voice, and you know what? And if there's 10 things that he said in there, he's probably right about 8 or 9 of them. So he has every right to be upset. But I think if I don't think the Big Ten and the SEC could do it. I don't think it would be as sellable. Man, look at that haircut.
We're looking at a 15 years down the line version of. We'll leave it at that.
That's man. Is that a super mullet? Because he had it shaved on the side.
Oh yeah,
right.
Oh yeah.
He had like a mohawk, kind of
mohawk mullet, kind of.
Yeah. And with the glasses, and he got super swag on though too. So
yeah.
No, but back to business.
Looked very Italian.
Yeah. But it's going to be intense, these meetings, because the Sankey and they're this weekend, right? Or next weekend?
One of the two. Yeah.
He's going to fire a couple shots over the bow too. He's going to hold court.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Okay. Two things to get to from what you said. Number one, the part about the money, taking the ball and going home. The Jamie Pollard led that with. Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports put out a really good article at the start of the week. His tweet about this article says this: more than $100 million of NIL pay that schools guaranteed athletes goes uncleared. Okay, uncleared through the CSC, College Sports Commission, that Jamie Pollard said all 4 conferences spend a lot of money to create. 75% of that $100 million comes from 2 conferences.
So you see why. Now you see why.
You know the 2 conferences are.
Yeah.
SEC and Big Ten. Okay, he goes on.
So that's why they feel that way.
Right. As the biggest spenders.
It's understandable, right? Before you get going.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
We're in agreement with that?
Yeah, straight up. As the biggest spenders gather Big Ten meetings, CSC reform, a divisive issue, looms, and NCAA breakaway talks intensify. Okay. I am in lockstep with you. I don't think the Big Ten and the SEC have enough on their own to make this work. That same Matt Norlander article I was reading before as well talked about how did we get here, essentially. The other reason expansion is coming is the big reason, perhaps better framed as the unspoken threat. It's the lurking worry that's hovered at every committee meeting, on every Zoom call in which this topic has been discussed over the past 3 years. To know why the NCAA is going to go through with tournament expansion, it's crucial to go back to why it became a topic altogether. Who asked for this? When did it get rolling? Well, NCAA President Mark Emmert and others lobbied for a transformation committee to look at every issue, yada, yada, yada. That committee had 2 chairs, SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey, and then Ohio Athletic Director Julie Cromer, who is now the number 2 in LSU's athletic department. Less than a year after it formed, the committee recommended that every D1 sport with at least 200 teams should seriously explore expanding its championship events. Okay, we're going to scroll down a little bit here. In the early 2020s, SEC and Big 12 expand to 16, ACC and Big 10 bloat to 18. They redefine the landscape, yada, yada. 68 teams in the NCAA tournament was no longer enough. There just aren't enough bids. Won't you think of the 11th place team in the Big 10? The unspoken threat was this: expand the tournament or else. And here's where I think Norlander gets to your point. Or else what? Or else the Big 10, SEC, Big 12, and ACC could eventually consider starting their own tournament. That was the unspoken threat. This unhealthy sentiment was shared to me by various NCAA and conference sources across the past 3 years. The NCAA felt it had to work its way to expansion to get the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, and ACC to put down their swords. And Norlander goes on and on. The men's basketball tournament is the only thing that makes money for the NCAA since they lost control of the football championship. Yeah. You lose that, you lose everything. The NCAA dies. That's the power of the unspoken threat. If theoretically the power conferences went off on their own to make a new national tournament, it would burn down March Madness and destroy one of America's greatest institutions. Instead, the NCAA could expand its March Madness fields order to appease the most powerful people in college sports and keep the enterprise together to avoid a civil war. And I'm here writing this column to tell you that this ever-lurking threat is and was BS. It would never happen. The most powerful people in college football's Power Four do not carry the collective guts, gumption, nor stupidity to actually go through with such a doomsday act. To leave the NCAA tournament, start your own, would mean to leave the NCAA altogether. All the other sports have to come with you, and all those sports cost a lot of money. Norlander says these other athletic directors, these other conference commissioners should have called the bluff. Okay, leave.
Yeah.
Good luck with it. But they didn't. You know, that's not the world we're in. We didn't see that ultimatum. Okay, take your ball and go home. Instead of, no, come back. We need that. Like no one else brought a basketball to play with.
Yeah.
Like no one else had a backup football when the bully on the block took theirs home. Yeah, they're the biggest brands, but they can fail too.
Yeah.
You just have to let them. That hurts to say here at Nebraska in the Big Ten. I don't know where Troy Danon stands on a lot of this stuff. You know, we don't want to see Nebraska fail. But when we talk about big picture for the good of college athletics, it's such a shame that we're this far into it. It doesn't seem like we're going to get to the point where these conferences walk the plank and then say, oh, crap, we were wrong. We'll take the life raft. Let's work together.
Yeah, they're too far gone, and they feel like they got your feet over. I mean, they're holding you by the feet, like, Suge Knight with Vanilla Ice. You know what I'm saying? It got you over, and now you're just, you got to give them everything they want, like a king's ransom. And so, there's a quote in there from Trev Alberts too.
Yeah,
and his quote is, "Lots of people in this league are saying, what is Plan B?" And they're going to Destin, so they're going to be at a very nice resort as well. So, it's going to be some uncomfortable talks. I don't think there's any solution, but I definitely would have called their bluff. And if it worked out for them, great, because if it worked out for them, it would have worked out for the other teams that broke off in the other league as well. And it'd probably been less stress. Now you have teams losing a ton of money. I mean, you need to do, hopefully Dillinger does an article on the universities that are actually in debt. You're talking about USC and the Michigans and some blue bloods that are.
Well, Kansas and Louisville took money from the academic side this last year.
Right. We're talking about close to billions of dollars, in the red. And it's only going to, you're not making the money back at a high enough rate to really knock into it or knock it down. So that's where it's a huge ordeal to see where this thing ends up.
Who knows how close we are to careening off the cliff, running into the cliff wall, whatever it is, but we'll be here the whole time. You can watch it careen into the cliff out your fancy new windows from Heartland of Nebraska Windows. They're based in Hallam, Nebraska. They offer a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl, triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty on everything while keeping their prices affordable. Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give them a call today for more info, 402-430-3852. You can also visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Short segment wrapping up hour one right after this.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
MWR, a local company of Lincoln, is proud to announce they are able to offer their own post-frame building packages in metal to anyone desiring a building, whether you're a contractor or a DIYer. They can install your building as always, and they offer multiple different rib profiles and loads of color options, including the wood grain metal at great competitive prices. You can inquire at mwrbuildingandfence.com or just draw your desired building and submit it in their Contact Us page, and they'll get back to you. Call MWR today at 402-540-8966.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Are you looking for a place to host company get-togethers, team meetings, or group events? Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the perfect place to host your gathering with private bays available to meet with clients while you swing the sticks and improve your game. Back Nine Golf offers traditional golf opportunities while also providing fun games and activities for non-traditional golfers on their top-of-the-line full swing simulators. Learn about their corporate memberships today and gather your favorite groups together at Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln, just off of 14th and Pine Lake Road.
At Cedars, we're here to make sure that kids have the safety and stability that every child deserves, where they're protected and where they feel safe. You make this possible. Today, more than ever, we need your support to be here for kids who have nowhere else to call home. Now through May 28th, make a big impact through Give to Lincoln. Give to Cedars now at givetolincoln.com.
Green's Furnace and Plumbing has been servicing the southeast Nebraska area since 1921, specializing in HVAC systems, bathroom remodels, duct cleaning, backflow testing, and so much more. With a network of trained technicians ready to assist you, Green's Furnace and Plumbing is your source for dedicated commercial HVAC service for your business, building, or even your home, so it can run without all those unwanted interruptions. Learn more by visiting their website at callgreens.com or give them a call at 402-467-4444 today.
Hi, Husker Nation. This is Rex Burkhead. On Lincoln Gives Day, I hope you'll join me in supporting the Team Jack Foundation and their mission to fund life-saving childhood brain cancer research. Kids and families facing brain cancer deserve better treatments and more hope for the future. Every donation helps move that mission forward. You can make your gift today by visiting givetolincoln.com and searching Team Jack. I'm proud to support the Team Jack Foundation and the fight for every child and family affected by brain cancer.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete in Lincoln and Palmyra. Ready Mixed offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply with Ready Mixed Concrete today to be eligible for a $2,500 hiring bonus. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with Ready Mixed Concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SauterHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Graham Tire Company is celebrating 75 years of serving its neighbors throughout the Midwest, and to say thank you, they're giving you a $75 instant rebate on a set of 4 select tires during their Memorial Day tire sale event. You can stack on even more savings with big mail-in rebates on select tires from Goodyear, Cooper, and Hankook. And remember, all tires are on sale right now, making this the perfect time to upgrade before summer driving begins. Hurry in today. Graham Tire, your tire store next door.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is Old School, putting a bow on hour one of the show. Hour one, as always, brought to you by Graham Tire Company. Mr. Mike D, we see your text. Probably going to respond to this one offline. But 2312 says, Jay, I think the fundamental issue is that college sports is no longer exists as a sport. It's simply entertainment and a revenue stream, and it'll be optimized for that purpose.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like I said, it's it went from amateur to, I've been saying before we even moved down here to 1040 O Street that I thought college football was professional, especially after getting NIL, and then just seems like overnight, especially with the lack of guardrails with NIL and the TV contracts and the posturing and the investment to have 75% of that money that you mentioned in there. It is entertainment. They are paying for power. It's essentially WWE WWE/WWF versus the old WCW back in the day for you wrestling fans. And WWE and the WWF won, and then they started to do what? Monday Night Raw, the Thursday, whatever, stuff with the Rock. So they really have taken over, and that's what we're at right now.
I still think there will be a bounce back, even if it doesn't look the exact way, right? I mean, look at the movie industry, right? Look at theaters. Something everyone loved as a kid. Hey, this is fun. Let's go see a movie, whatever. I mean, movies are dead, dying. It's different, Not everything lasts forever, whether that's going to be sports or movies, entertainment, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But there's always something else coming next. And I think there are real legitimate concerns about viewership of college sports. I think there are real legitimate concerns, in the younger generations and in my generation and in your generation, whatever. But it's going to bounce back somehow. That's not going to be the end. Someone's going to have a solution. eventually it's going to hit the point that who knows if we'll know it in the moment, but we'll be able to say, hey, things got to this point. Some decisions were made. It wasn't perfect right away, but it started inching back.
Yeah.
Look at baseball. Conversations we were having about Major League Baseball. Finally, the commissioner and the league said, we've had enough. And now they're about to completely stymie their progress with a lockout coming up in about 7 months. So great job, everyone. Glad you have the best interest of the game in mind. But someone in the movie industry is going to touch a nerve, whether it's the actual, movie theater itself, whether it's better, direct-to-consumer streaming something.
Yeah.
They're always trends. That's why they're called trends, right? There's so few things that are permanent and lasting. I mean, you get 50 years out of a trend, that's really the exception as opposed to the rule here. So, yeah, maybe things aren't in the healthiest spot. Yeah, college football, college sports in general are probably going to continue to be optimized to make money. But I go back to this. We've said this about NIL for however long. We've said this about guys that are transferring looking for the biggest paycheck is, okay, you can get that in college, but you know what's worth more than $4 million a year in college is a $7 million a year contract in the pro leagues.
Yeah.
And so it's not wrong. It's not wrong to go get your money now while you can. Like you say, go get it while you can. But you also have to realize that there is potential for even more out there if you stay the course, if you work hard, if you get to even a level above.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's hard for them to see, the forest through the trees or whatever the saying is, because it's right now. And I think you can do both. I think you can go for the money, but also think if you can be, motivated by the money, but your discipline with football outlasts the motivation. And that allow you to, reach the, the heights that you just talked about versus, another 30 for 30. What has happened to some of these players that were grossly overpaid and never made it?
Yeah.
Never made it, where they won't probably get a lot of sympathy. And this is where I think, and we talked about this before, where schools need to do a better job in educating players, having more control of it and getting, they're not even developed brain-wise. So there's a lot going on. And you mentioned the movie industry. I get your analogy and your question, but that is actually something out of their control because of COVID. People stopped going. You couldn't go, right? And just never came back, right?
Yeah, and the types of movies being made, the types of stories being told.
And the industry had been changing.
Price of concessions.
Yeah, and stuff had been changing, but you could have really found a way around it. Concessions and everything went up during that time. This right here, transfer portal, NIL, and the lack of guardrails around it was a conscious decision to turn a blind eye. The NCAA had how many times? How many times?
125 years.
Right. But the Supreme Court said, go get it fixed. Yeah. Okay, we will. What did you do? Oh, well, the sheet's blank. Oh, okay. You're going to disrespect? Okay. There you go. So I think, your analogy is right. I'm right on there with you, but I think this is something that
I see your point.
Was in the works, and you turned a blind eye. It's ruined college football in a lot of ways. And the only way that they'll feel it when the butts stop being in the stands.
Like at the movie theaters.
Right.
Not a lot of butts in seats. What's going to change college football, college basketball? Let's see what you got. We'll go to break. Full hour 2 of the show next here on The Ticket.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
On automatic. Think Judson Irrigation for worry-free service to Lincoln homeowners and business community. Judson Irrigation will turn on your sprinkler system in the spring, repair or redesign as needed, and turn it off in the fall. For service to orphan sprinklers, remember Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage, 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SauterHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Tomorrow is about the lessons we learn today. A farmer's market teaches us that community is grown together. Kids laughing shows us how joy is easy. And coffee on the porch reminds us to savor every moment. These are the lessons that shape a tomorrow we all share. One filled with trust, good company, and wide open dreams. That's the way banking should be. And that's Pinnacle Bank. Member FDIC.
Remember your first Salt Dogs game? Maybe it was a class trip out on the berm, or date night with actual fireworks, or team building that didn't feel like work at all. For 25 seasons, Haymarket Park remains Lincoln's place for firsts like these, the kind that last. Because it's more than a baseball game. It's the joy of being here together. These are the traditions that bring us home. So here's to you, Lincoln, where local tradition plays on. Get your tickets at saltdogs.com.
Are you looking for something different for lunch or dinner in Lincoln? Big 8 is now open at 1226 P Street, serving seafood boils and Asian cuisine. Get your hands messy with fresh, flavorful seafood boils, hot, cold, and made to share. Or enjoy classic Chinese and Asian dishes, perfect for lunch, dinner, or a night out with friends and family. Big flavors, generous portions, and a brand new dining experience. Big 8, now open in Lincoln.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete in Lincoln and Palmyra. Ready Mixed offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply with Ready Mixed Concrete today to be eligible for a $2,500 hiring bonus. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with Ready Mixed Concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
At Cedars, we're here to make sure that kids have the safety and stability that every child deserves, where they're protected and where they feel safe. You make this possible. Today, more than ever, we need your support to be here for kids who have nowhere else to call home. Now through May 28th, make a big impact through Give to Lincoln. Give to Cedars now at givetolincoln.com.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Graham Tire Company is celebrating 75 years of serving its neighbors throughout the Midwest, and to say thank you, they're giving you a $75 instant rebate on a set of 4 select tires during their Memorial Day tire sale event. You can stack on even more savings with big mail-in rebates on select tires from Goodyear, Cooper, and Hankook. And remember, all tires are on sale right now, making this the perfect time to upgrade before summer driving begins. Hurry in today. Graham Tire, your tire store next door.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln, this is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Away we go into hour 2 of Old School. Thanks for being along for the ride. A ride that I'm sure is much smoother because you took your car into Graham Tire Company, any of their 4 Lincoln locations. Easy to find online and in the community. Big thanks to Graham Tire for their sponsorship of the show. 402-464-5685 if you want to be a part of the show on our Sartor Heyman Jewelers text line. Jay, let's talk about Nebraska football here. And this is going to be kind of a nebulous concept. And we're thinking about the following question on an individual basis, right? Individual players that maybe come to mind for you. I would say really in the last 2 years of Matt Rhule, but if you want to do his entire tenure at Nebraska, that's fine as well. How many developmental wins has Nebraska had under Matt Rhule? How many players have legitimately contributed to the team and played their best football at Nebraska under Matt Rhule? We can just start a running list and talk about them as we go.
I mean, I think it's a benefactor of some of the work that's been done before, but I guess, just to answer it, I mean, Ty Robinson was here 2 years, right?
Yep.
So that he counts. Nash probably counts. Definitely John Bullock, at linebacker.
Yep.
I mean, you can't deny that. Emmett, right? Now that's I think Coach Dana coming in helped that, but either way,
But Matt Rhule's here, so.
Trying to think some of the other guys.
Justin Evans
for sure. I was thinking of offensive. I mean,
Lutovsky.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call some of those guys, besides the Justin Evans on that offensive line from last year, total wins. But I think you had they made improvement to where they were serviceable,
playable.
Like Bryce Benharts, those type of guys. You know what I'm saying? Because they were pretty dang consistent. To be to the point that where Emmett took off, the offensive line was in the last couple of years pretty consistent. Probably not as good as you would like. Obviously, they went and invested in it heavily, but they made an uptick.
Lindenmeyer.
Yeah.
In the serviceable or win category?
We'll see, but I think etching towards there, he's going to have a good year. I think he started out really good last year, and now maybe teams are kind of on it. He's got to have a big year period, but yeah, I mean, I'd say kind of tended or kind of teeter-totting towards there. Do you count portal guys as two? Portal guys as well? How's that?
If you want to, yeah. I mean,
you probably put in like a Sierra Wright for sure.
Okay.
That felt like he played good. I mean, a guy that I wish they had another year. So I don't know if you count it as Omar Brown.
Okay. Yep.
I wish he would have came back.
Bigger developmental win just in their time at Nebraska, Omar Brown or Deshaun Singleton?
Man, that's tough, man, because them two dudes together were like a good combination.
They worked really well together.
Yeah, and they probably lost a little bit. Now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man, that's tough. I would.
Isaac Gifford, better under Matt Rhule or better under Scott Frost?
Matt Rhule probably got more opportunities. I'd maybe say Omar. Maybe because he was making some. I mean, that year he was making some plays.
Plays,
like big time plays.
Mm-hmm.
His play actually helped Tommy Hill too.
Yeah.
So I judge you off of that.
Jamari Butler.
Between him and Frost, I thought he started to make plays. I think Jamari's always was one. I think it was just. He got a little bit better than serviceable, and I think he left, and then that was it. You know what I'm saying? Kind of sucks because he was kind of a tweener, but he was consistent. There was a lot of things, but then they had a little bit more depth there too.
He was new Caleb Tanner.
Yeah, and you kind of wish you had another year. You had another year, yeah.
Completely agree.
And I don't think it was a negative or positive either way.
Rahmir Johnson.
I think he played his best ball, and he was respected more.
With Matt Rhule?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, now these aren't like huge impacts, but I'm just looking at like from where you start to finish. Now, Ramir always had the injuries and stuff, so you never could really see the full effect.
Right. Those are guys from the 23 team for the most part that I've been reading off that have stood out to me. We can keep scrolling down here. Let's see. Where are some of the other names? Well, what about this one? Like a Quinn Clark.
Oh, he's definitely developing for sure.
But he's not a win yet. And I have a hard
Not
time
yet.
saying that he's a win because it seems like Nebraska keeps recruiting over him.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say? Is Nebraska recruiting over Quinn Clark? Because he's a guy that the fan base and the media, if you will, talk about every offseason. You see the skills, you see the height. But every year Nebraska goes to the portal for receivers.
Yeah. No, well, yeah. But I think Quinn's starting to kind of make a move.
Okay.
So I think it's to be determined. It's pointing at the way that he's starting to develop. But you weren't able to develop like Malachi and all these other guys. And I mean, I think recruiting now, it's like you're going to be batting like 50%. If you're batting 50%, you're doing pretty dang good. That's why you got to go to the portal.
Do you want the example I used on the drive with AD today?
Of a win?
Of the hit rate in recruiting?
Yeah.
Okay. I went to 2018 Georgia football.
Okay.
That class. I'll just read you the class here. Justin Fields. Clearly not a win for Georgia. Transferred out. Jamari Salier. Ever heard of him again?
Yeah.
Okay. Tyson Campbell.
Who was that?
Zamir White.
I do remember the name.
Channing Tindall.
Nope.
Adam Anderson.
Nope.
Quay Walker.
Yep.
Brenton Cox.
No.
Cade Mays. Otis Reese. Trey Hill.
I like the name Otis.
Aziz Ojolari.
No.
Yeah, he's in the NFL.
What's his name?
Aziz Ojolari.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Win played
Yeah.
a big part. Luke Ford, better known for transferring than actually playing. James Cook.
Yep.
Yep.
For sure.
That guy's pretty good. Kieris Jackson.
Maybe heard his name, but nothing substantial.
Devontae Wyatt.
No.
Devod Wilson.
No.
Tommy Bush.
Nope.
Warren Erickson.
No.
Chris Smith. Owen Condon.
Mm-mm.
John Fitzpatrick. Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
That Jordan Davis. And Jake Camarda was the punter.
Yeah, he don't count nowhere.
That's not a huge hit list.
That's like 4 out of what?
I like that would have been out of 24, out of 26, even if you count the two JUCO guys. 4 out of 26. Let's go to the next year.
Did they get 4 out? Was it 4 or was it?
It was
no more than
James
6.
Cook, Aziz Ojolari, Jordan Davis, Quay Walker, and maybe one more.
They made one more.
So 4 or 5
at
out of
max. You're at 6.
Right.
You're 20. Yeah.
Let's go to 2019. Nolan Smith.
Yep.
Trayvon Walker.
Yep.
Tyreek Stevenson.
Yeah.
Nakobe Dean.
Yeah.
George Pickens.
Yep.
Dominique Blaylock.
Nope.
Clay Webb.
No.
Lewis Sign.
Yeah. That's
A guy the Vikings drafted.
right. So we got 6.
Okay. Bill Norton, Ryan Davis, Jermaine Johnson.
Yes.
Outside
so
linebacker.
7. Well, no. He transferred.
He did. That's right.
Right. So
To
still
Florida
at
State,
6.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So and that's a big loss.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tresman Marshall, Xavier Truss, Ryland Good, Warren McClendon, DJ Daniel, Micaiah Tung, Brett Seether, Kenny McIntosh, Zion Logue. I think he transferred out.
Yeah.
Timon Mitchell, DeJuan Mathis, Tramel Walther, and Stetson Bennett.
Stetson Bennett.
So you end up
so
at
you're
7
and
out of
8,
out of
maybe
25.
Wilson thing, right?
Yeah.
So like 8
out of 25.
Right. So that's where you got to be at. You got to be here's what's going to happen. If you have a class you miss on, you got to hit on the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to have one that's in between the miss and the hit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
That's the only way. That's where you're at. And then also when you hit on those guys, and that's where Jermaine Johnson, and you could throw Jermaine Johnson in there because it was actually a good. You talk about recruited over. That was it. You just had too many guys. You hit too much.
Yeah,
right?
At that position.
You hedged your bets, and the bet came true, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna, but you have to have those guys when they hit, right? They got to hit for multiple years. It can't just be okay. So like the example I said. So say, I would have had. They were like, okay, we see you coming out of high school as an athlete / safety and running back, but we're going to make you into a middle linebacker. Well, I wasn't middle linebacker until year 3 or 4. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if that's the case, right, and say you're at a place that they don't redshirt you, you only get that's 1 year. Those guys were playing multiple years.
Special teams as a freshman,
right?
Playing as a sophomore, starting as juniors,
dominating as a senior,
if they're even still around,
right? As a group,
yes.
And maybe you might have, especially defensively, you might lose 6 guys, but you got 5 other dudes
that have been playing together on scout team for a year.
And they're right, but you have the guys that are the holdovers that are ready to move the dominant role. So that's what they've been able to do, but that's where they're struggling a little bit with this portal and NIL. And it comes down to, player development is, I think every 3 or 4 years, people have these catchphrases or words that really makes people, it kind of it's what they just use it and they just burn it down to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It was culture. Remember when Frost got buy-in? What was buy-in? Like you trying to convince somebody to work hard?
Well, we got here, it wasn't our guys.
Sure,
so.
Yeah, our guys and all that culture. Now everybody uses surreal and all this other stuff. And instead of saying this is the greatest moments ever, you use surreal and all that. Now you have development, and I think development changes depending on who you talk to and where you're at. Because I would argue that, and I'll use a pro example that we'll do the Georgia with Mark Richt and Kirby Smart. I think the development under Mark Richt and Kirby Smart, as far as putting guys in the league, obviously Kirby took it to another level, but it's still Mark Richt and those guys
more than respect.
They had a lot of dudes going in the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Kirby developed a championship mentality there.
Mm-hmm.
He brought that from Bama. But then you have, like, same with Mario Cristobal, but he had to develop the talent because they all were young. And then you have to develop the culture, which is kind of like, I'm assuming what they had to do here is redefining and making sure it's crystal clear what the expectations are and what's like expected of you as a college athlete, football player. Let's take student out of it. And what real work is. It's not optional. You're going to be held accountable. You're going to show up to meeting, all that type of stuff that they're trying to do over there. That's the difference in development in the weight room is a relationship. It can't be 80% the weight coach, 20% the player. You get what I'm saying? You actually want it to be 80% the player, 20% the weight coach.
Sure.
Show me the blueprint. I take it. I try to make it mine. I come back to you. We change it. I take it again. I maximize it. Then next thing you know, we were like, man, what, like Amir Abdullah when he came here, and next, he came in, he reshaped his body, all that type. We've seen it. Emmett Johnson did the same thing. That's true development. But everybody thinks it's on, and now it's on the coaches as well. But
to have the plan to hold players accountable to it,
and to have it strategically for each player.
Yeah, foster the culture.
Right. Right. You have the over culture, the
umbrella,
and then I gotta develop Austin at whatever you need to get better at on and off the field, different than Jay Foreman. But then also what I think where people miss the boat is a lot of the responsibility is on the players. When I talk about guys that love football, guys that are invested, that is part of development. You will not develop if you're not invested.
You can't. It doesn't happen on accident.
Then you'll have people that'll say, okay, well, what's stopping it? Are we giving them too much? Right? You can, especially as a young player, you come in, and we saw it maybe in whatever people's opinion are with Dylan, he pretty much had the runway of, I always say you had it from First and O Street all the way to Eagle, right? You had the long runway. As a young player, you have the keys to the city. You are the face of the university. Is that too much? Did you lose your edge? I would find it hard that anybody that I played with that would lose their edge, because our edge was instilled in us, and that edge was as much important as our scholarship checks. And so is that maybe something that has to be addressed. I don't know how you do it because in recruiting, these kids, that's all they live for. Not all they live for, but it's a big part of their summers. I mean, just imagine, Austin. I can think back to me as a junior going into senior year, a sophomore going into my junior year. And I always tell people I had more basketball scholarships from Division I as a sophomore going into junior year than football. But then say after my junior year, after I got busy a little bit and they kind of really expanded recruiting, and I get to fly around all summer. They fly me to these schools and I'm going on official visits. I'm getting fed. I'm getting paid. I won't say what else I'm doing. No, I'm just playing. I'm getting fed. I'm getting paid. I'm fed and getting paid, right? You know what I'm saying?
What more does a man need?
Yeah.
Don't say no.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just playing. So you're getting fed, and then you bring your family with.
Yeah.
Right?
You're getting told you're the face of the future. We really like you.
And the family's coming. I was able to, just imagine me being able to go with my dad and all that stuff. And maybe I brought my uncle or my mom or whatever.
Which uncle?
I would rotate.
Okay. But okay, we asked Kevin this. Okay, which kid you name each wine after is which uncle you take on which trip.
I bring my uncle Butch to Nebraska because he played at Cincinnati, and at that time Nebraska didn't recruit African American linemen, so he went to Cincinnati.
Okay.
Long time, obviously. So, but he loves Nebraska. He would have came here with me.
Okay.
When I went to Miami, it probably would have caused some tension in the family whether Uncle Grease or Uncle Blood went.
Okay.
Because they both would have been turned up. I wouldn't have seen them. That would have been their recruiting trip. And I probably would have brought my Uncle Grease to Wisconsin because it's so close. But yeah, I mean, my point is these kids, you talking about changing the culture. It's hard to change it because they get to experience things that the average college kid doesn't get to experience.
Will never dream of.
I mean, I was thinking about, say you go to law school and, you finish at the top of your class and you get recruited by XYZ law firms, across the nation. That's kind of just, all right, you come in, you have a great dinner. Here's our offer. Here's how you can become partner. All right, see you. Well, these dudes are coming in, they're getting everything, you know what I mean? And so, I don't know. That's part of the culture and development as well, because I think development happens when you have to make sure there's a line that's cut off and then the work begins.
Yeah.
And that's left in behind. Like it's almost, it's almost like you get off the plane, as a recruit versus getting off the plane as a signee at January or whenever they come back. I like it that it's cold.
Yeah.
I also would like, you saw that nice locker room. You down at that one?
Keep dreaming.
No.
Keep working.
Those 120 yards from South Stadium to North Stadium as far as the field is the longest 120 yards I want it to be in your life. Because I want you to work and think about that daily.
Yeah.
And then when you get in there, then the reward would be really sweeter. You know what I mean? Because you can't get too comfortable over there because we keep bringing people in there.
Right.
So you better either maximize and get there or you're going to have to get out. Versus you're already in the penthouse. It's hard. There's a lot of room in the penthouse, right? To hide. And, you know what I mean?
Right.
And play along.
Well, you can look like you're getting recovery in. You might just be chilling.
You can play along in the penthouse. It's hard to find everybody in there. But when you're in that little garage down there, when you're in the garage, and there's only one door, one way in, one way out. I like it. I mean, maybe that could be a little something.
I think that's a great idea. Will it ever happen?
I don't know. I don't work over.
Doubt it.
Let me text Coach.
Let me
text him, see what he says.
Yeah. Open invite, by the way. Coach, love to hear
He'd
from
be like,
you.
man, you out of your mind.
And it would be one thing if, let's say, Nebraska football would stay in Selleck all year long. But just doing it for the summer, does that do any good?
Oh, no. This is all season, but player.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. But, I think Nebraska is acting like it's doing something. I'm saying, oh, look, we're really roughing it out here in Selleck. Where we're staying.
For
summer camp.
Yeah, that's cool. But you're not coming to, listen, we have the people in place to clear your stuff out when the visiting team comes. We only have 6 home games. You're domiciled down there. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The intern equipment manager is your equipment manager. So if you light on socks, that might be on purpose. And trust me, the South locker room where I was at is not what the North locker room that I was in as a freshman. So, but there is a difference. And I do think the separation and coming together is key. That's where you can develop some leadership. That's where you can have the pecking order. That's where you can really inspire kids to work, right? We're still eating at the same training table.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what?
You have an extra 120 yards to walk, though.
Yeah, through the snow.
Mm-hmm.
Slashing.
Uphill.
Was it slashing through the snow on a great open I can't say. What's it? How you say it?
I don't know, Jay. How do you say it?
I don't know.
I want you to sing it.
It was slashing through the snow. Is it slashing through the snow?
Dashing
through the snow.
Slashing right away. What a Minnesotan.
On an open sleigh?
One horse open sleigh.
One horse open sleigh. That's what
or
you
the
need
field
to be
we
doing.
go.
Yeah, because those
laughing all the way. Ain't no laughing in that locker
hey, listen,
room.
The scooters ain't working when there's snow there too. Put the boots on, your little beanie hat, your little nose is red, running nose. And then if you try to
strap
walk
up,
if you try to walk up through the stadium, it's cold up there too. I want it to be tough.
Turn the heat off. Cold water only.
No, they couldn't handle that. I don't want somebody.
they got to handle it all, right?
I'm fine with it. Yeah, you
know
what?
What's one more little adversity on top of three already?
You know what? Listen, we could. You know what? You're not going to be in here relaxing in the showers and all that stuff.
Cold water,
like it's a spa.
Metal folding chairs, metal lockers.
Yeah, it depends on how
benches give you splinters.
Hey, how many times you jump off sides, or how many times those freshmen don't come to class? Yeah, you might not have a stool. You know what I'm saying? You might have to figure it out. You know what? I mess around, put a dial-up phone in there.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, so I mean, you might have to do it. And like if some guys get that bent out of shape because of that, those are the guys on 4th and 1 you can't win with. Because the process, that's another catchphrase. The process. Trust the process, right? The process. How many times a year, guys, is the process?
Well, another process guy got martyred by the 76ers. But
man, we're gonna get into that.
We'll get that later. But
no, that's next, right?
It can be next.
Yeah, because the light skin play. J Kidd. I've been reading some stories on J Kidd.
Man,
he diabolical. He diabolical, man.
Going back to where did he go to college?
Cal.
And
you know what?
Nailed it.
And you know what Gary Payton said about him? His name is Asen because you don't have no J. Remember that?
Got him.
Yeah, got him. He from Oakland though.
He is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's not Oakland finest. Gary Payton is.
And Gary Payton will tell him that time and again. We want to tell you time and again that Give to Lincoln Day is next Thursday, May 28th. We will be at Cedars at 66th and Pioneers all morning long into the early afternoon, and they'd appreciate your donation at givetolincoln.com on behalf of the Lincoln Community Foundation. In 2024, Cedars asked for your help to build something special. That was the Cedars Activity Center, which we just heard about yesterday on the show at 3:30. Yeah. But thanks to Allie and Alexis for coming in and talking to us about this. The Cedars Activity Center is now a realized thing, a great space for kids, all because of you and your support. In the last year, Cedars served over 2,600 kids and families and provided over 120,000 nights of care. Help keep Cedars going with your donation, which you can do now all the way through May 28th at givetolincoln.com. Find the search box and search for Cedars. Some NBA news and more as we continue hour 2 of Old School next.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Graham Tire Company is celebrating 75 years of serving its neighbors throughout the Midwest, and to say thank you, they're giving you a $75 instant rebate on a set of 4 select tires during their Memorial Day tire sale event. You can stack on even more savings with big mail-in rebates on select tires from Goodyear, Cooper, and Hankook. And remember, all tires are on sale right now, making this the perfect time to upgrade before summer driving begins. Hurry in today. Graham Tire, your tire store next door.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday. You lost Wednesday. You're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Tomorrow is about the lessons we learn today. A farmer's market teaches us that community is grown together. Kids laughing shows us how joy is easy. And coffee on the porch reminds us to savor every moment. These are the lessons that shape a tomorrow we all share. One filled with trust, good company, and wide open dreams. That's the way banking should be. And that's Pinnacle Bank. Member FDIC.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
I am Harrison Arns, producer of Ticket Weeknights and Weekends right here at 93.7 The Ticket. My favorite things to do in downtown Lincoln are checking out all the local sports events, whether it's basketball, football, volleyball, or even Lincoln Stars hockey. I enjoy it all because I get to experience one of the best sports communities in the country.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket. Are you looking for something different for lunch or dinner in Lincoln? Big 8 is now open at 1226 P Street, serving seafood boils and Asian cuisine. Get your hands messy with fresh, flavorful seafood boils, hot, cold, and made to share. Or enjoy classic Chinese and Asian dishes, perfect for lunch, dinner, or a night out with friends and family. Big flavors, generous portions, and a brand new dining experience. Big 8, now open in Lincoln.
Remember your first Salt Dogs game? Maybe it was a class trip out on the berm, or date night with actual fireworks, or team building that didn't feel like work at all. For 25 seasons, Haymarket Park remains Lincoln's place for firsts like these, the kind that last. Because it's more than a baseball game. It's the joy of being here together. These are the traditions that bring us home. So here's to you, Lincoln. Your local tradition plays on. Get your tickets at saltdogs.com.
Are you looking for a fresh new hangout spot? Let me tell you about Liquid Assets Sports Bar, where Mondays mean new weekly drink and food features. With 23 taps, a full lineup of cans and bottles, and 40 TVs blasting every sports package out there, you'll never worry about missing a play. Savor high-end spirits at their stylish top-shelf bar, enjoy a healthy menu, family-friendly atmosphere, and catch all of your favorite teams every day. Doors open daily at 11 a.m. Liquid Assets Sports Bar, located at 2755 Jamie Lane in South Lincoln.
The end of the school year is drawing near, which means graduation parties are coming soon. Are you prepared for hosting? Führer's Cheese Spread is the dip that brings everyone together to celebrate graduations and the close to a great school year. And it goes well with crackers, meats, soups, and more. How could you consider throwing a party without it? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's Cheese Spread. No graduation party is complete without it.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket.
Welcome back in. It is Old School here on The Ticket. Austin Norman, Jay Foreman with you. Big thanks to Schwezo Construction for helping sponsor the show. At Schwezo Construction, safety isn't just a policy, it's a promise. Schwezo is hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back both on and off the job site. You can apply today at Schwezo.com. 40 years strong in business, Schwezo Construction. Mentioned it leading into the break there, Jay. Some moves being made in the NBA that we haven't had a chance to talk about necessarily. Let's start with the coaching news. Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks are looking for a new head coach after the Mavericks go through the year with the interim GM, president of everything going on there. Masai Ujiri comes in, a longtime Raptors executive, guy that helped build that NBA Finals winner around
For
Kawhi
the
Leonard
Raptors,
and Kyle Lowry. So he's in as president, a role that apparently Jason Kidd wanted to move into, a la Brad Stevens. Dallas says no. Masai Ujiri kind of goes through the details, has his interviews with everyone, and says, nope, Jason Kidd, you're not the coach for me. So Dallas, how desirable a spot is that for a head coach?
I mean, right now you got Kyrie coming back a full year to come back with a vengeance. You might have Clay for another year. You got obviously Cooper Flag. I mean, that's where I'd want to be. Now, I think ownership is a little shaky because I think the Vegas thing is in the back of their mind. And now if they're able to kind of get something worked out with the city of Dallas, then you're all good. So, I think the, new president is good. I think he's well respected. Obviously when he came in, and I think, they had, I'll call it a hype video. He was like, hey, look, I'm the, he's like, I'm the man in here. His presence lets you know where he was at. And so I think that's a really good job. I mean, you got the safest next great player coming into the NBA in Cooper Flag. And he was awesome this year. All that was advertised and then some. And so you can work around that as long as you have a plan. And it seems like he is a man that does have a plan, always. What he's able to do. And he's shown the ability to make some moves too. Dallas is probably the first place I'd want to go, then Orlando, with the talent.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, but
Orlando's got its share.
Yeah,
but
Dallas first, though.
Dallas first. Sounds like the Pelicans have hired or are very interested in hiring Jamal Mosley.
Yeah,
former Magic coach who was let go. Washington, I don't think has made the move yet. I think they're sticking with Brian Keefe, or at least the rumors that it could have come open at one point. Portland still open, and we don't have to make all the jokes about Portland. They write themselves. But really interesting front office setup there for Dallas with Ujiri coming over. I mean, longtime basketball guy. Not all sunshine and rainbows in Toronto. Yeah, won a title, but especially toward the end, things got a little murky after that run.
Yeah.
The GM, it very, very quickly. The GM they hire, Mike Schmitz, is a guy that I remember following for NBA Draft Stub for a while.
Yep.
Portland hired him as assistant GM, and then he's now the general manager in Dallas. And then head coach to come. There's a bunch of names being floated out there, current assistants. Not a lot of sitting head coaches would be named in the search, it looks like right now. Sounds like former Dallas assistant Sean Sweeney, who's with the San Antonio Spurs, is on the short list. Micah Nori from the Timberwolves, potentially as an assistant. Don Staley got a shout out in a couple of pieces as well. The one that I would absolutely loathe and hate, and I don't think is going to happen, John Shire. Whole lot of Duke connections down there in Dallas. Obviously, Shire coached Cooper Flag, Derek Lively as well on his first team. The Kyrie connection there as well. I don't think John Shire would take it, but where Dallas decides to go is wildly fascinating to me, because there's an argument for, hey, this team is closer to winning than you might think. Go get a steady veteran hand to guide them through. Or you can say, hey, this is still a pretty young team, might get younger if we flip a trade or two. Let's find a head coach that we believe in and give him, the Mark Daniel treatment, the Mitch Johnson treatment, the Jordan Knott treatment with the Suns. Get a younger guy in.
Yeah, you need a older, steady hand. I think. I mean, Cooper Flag is still developing. You want to make sure that you have somebody that can allow Kyrie to mentor him, and you want to win. I mean, I think one thing is to develop Cooper Flag as far as skill wise, but you want to develop that winning edge too. And,
you need
learn,
to.
Right in the NBA, right? You won plenty in high school and college, but this is a totally different level. So I think with a first-time coach, and you were pretty much pushing reset on his rookie year again, because probably set up to fail with the rookie head coach. I think you need to find some veteran. I don't know how it ended when he left Dallas, but I mean, I think like a Rick Carlisle, I like him. I mean, that's probably my preference because I like him.
But would you leave Indiana? 2 years removed from a finals.
Yeah.
You tank, you're going to add some talent to it in the lottery.
Yeah.
You'd
Coach
still
Cooper
leave
Flag
Indiana?
and Kyrie. Yes. I think he has a ton of respect, that the veterans would respect him. I think he's done some really good things with younger players. I mean, then it's all, kind of, around that. And, to be honest with you, a coach, I don't think he's going to leave North Carolina. Dallas is a good place for like a Malone. Got a little bit of swag to him. Has been around the block, edgy enough.
Knows
right?
the Western Conference.
Knows the Western Conference. That's a guy that if he didn't jump on that North Carolina right away, that's a guy that I would get. I don't, what do you do for maybe? I guess you can go Billy Donovan.
I'd at least ask, right?
Right. Yeah. I think he's well respected. I think he's more of a veteran NBA coach now that's done some things as well. And he's also done it with young teams too and the young players. So it's interesting how that all came about and why Jay Kidd would want to move upstairs with $40 million left to coach. And you pretty much changed the dynamic of this year after the injuries and put Cooper Flagg at the point guard position. It's like I do that. I'm invested in you.
Right.
And maybe that turned them off. Like you're supposed to be coaching this dude. Now you want to go upstairs? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. What in your mind is the rationale for that? Why would he want to do that? Is president? Probably safer than head coach.
Safer than head coach. Excuse me. He probably felt like there were some decisions that he wants to be. He's a control freak. So
really, a former NBA point guard likes to be in control of things.
So he probably wants to be. Look, he probably feels like a lot of the moves that have happened, he was never in the loop. But
yeah,
listen, when I read the story about Jason Kidd making the whole team run because one guy had an Android,
and
it messed up the group text, I said, this man here is diabolical.
Confirmed story, by the way.
Because one guy had an Android and messed up the team group text.
Not blue, dang it.
Yeah. So everybody had to run?
Everybody.
Yeah. I don't know.
The other diabolical thing is hit me with the cup of ice.
Oh, with the cup
for the free timeout.
That was actually pretty. It was innovative,
but diabolical too.
Diabolical too.
Did you?
That's that Oakland in him.
Do you see enough Brad Stevens and Jason Kidd to think that president would have worked? I don't either.
No. That's why I said, why would you even think that?
Well, I see why he thinks it if he wants control.
Yeah.
But from the outside looking in, I don't see really, and not that you have to be a carbon copy of Brad Stevens. There are plenty of other successful executives, but Jason Kidd, you would think would have some more coaching years ahead of him. But at some point, Jay, when does his reputation get out there? He hasn't left a place well necessarily, and you start hearing more and more rumors every time he's fired or he leaves. Oh yeah, it wasn't as good as we thought it was going to be. There are some rumors behind the scenes.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's got to coach again, right?
Yeah,
or is he a TV guy?
He's too good of a coach not to coach. I think he has a perfect opportunity if he wants to go. He got $40 million coming to him. He can go be assistant.
Who'd you rather have for the next 5 years as your head coach, JJ Redick or Jason Kidd?
I don't know. I'm gonna go Jay Kidd. I can handle him. I'd be laughing. I'd be running, but I'd be laughing. I think JJ Redick has done a better job than I give him credit for. I'll go with Jay Kidd. He's won a lot as a coach too.
Kidd's definitely been around longer. He's won more games. I'm curious to see what a team built around Luka Doncic truly looks like for JJ Redick.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm a head coach if I do that. You believe in Luka more than I do.
I also believe in Cade Cunningham, which has been a mixed bag to this point. I have a type. I have a type, Jay. I have a type.
Yeah, ball.
Jumbo initiators. It's my type.
Yeah.
That's why I still believe in Paolo Banchero. Playoff riser, Paolo Banchero.
They're all in the crib, though.
They are. But Jalen Williams isn't at the crib.
But you know who else is at the crib?
Who else is at the crib?
Daryl Morey.
Daryl Morey is at the crib.
From the 76ers.
Mm-hmm. By way of the Houston Rockets.
Man. When he did his boy James Harden wrong, you know his time was up. You know his time was up, man. Him and James Harden must have been at Club Onyx a lot of times down in Houston. Seriously.
Yeah.
Because he paid James Harden after he was in the studio before the Western Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm.
And played horrible. And
Terrible.
Rewarded him for remember he turned down $50 million.
Yeah.
And then brought him, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And then when they broke up, his time in Philly was over.
Daryl Morey wasn't that bad in Philly.
Yeah, he made it. I think he was bad at first. What did he do wrong now?
I think they just wanted to go a different direction, and Philly kind of felt like it had plateaued. Right? I mean, with the Embiid injuries, the Paul George injuries, what have you seen? I mean, you've seen Maxey grow.
Mhm.
You made the McCain trade and some weird comments around that one, had to sell high on him or whatever. I don't know if Daryl Morey was the problem.
I don't think so.
I think there's just some weird voodoo around Philly that he couldn't break or didn't break. And sure, you can go back through the whole timeline of moves. I mean, Harden and Embiid and Butler and Al Horford.
Yeah.
I mean, all in that same kind of span. And then you take the flyer on Paul George after we've known for 3 years that big threes aren't really a thing anymore. Certainly not like free agent trade big threes.
Right.
And now, to be fair, you drafted and developed Maxey. That's worked out pretty well for you. Embiid is yours, but you maxed him. Should you have even won that MVP? I don't know. I just don't know if I would be the team that makes the Paul George decision. But Jimmy was working there for a minute. I don't put that on Daryl Morey necessarily.
No,
it was worth a shot.
That was a Jimmy.
It was a Jimmy thing.
Yeah. I mean, that Jimmy was Jimmy.
Yeah.
I think he's willing to take some risks, what you want in the NBA. It reminds me of the old Jailblazers. I don't know if you saw that with their GM.
Mhm.
You got to be willing to take some risk on some guys. He's hit. He had patience, continued patience with Embiid, obviously Maxey, and a couple other guys worked out well. I just think the injury bug hit him, and I think the James Harden experiment was more on James Harden and the way he played. But I think he eventually turned around because he was really good as like a ball handler. I think James Harden is being viewed as the same one that won MVP. And doesn't have that skill set. He's not in that type of shape. He's not that type of player. So it's reflective of Daryl Morey because they've been connected.
Yeah.
Who's thick and thin.
Mhm.
And I think that wore it out. And then I think also the way that they exited the playoffs. Remember when I told you that's going to get somebody fired?
You said it.
And
You said it.
it's either the head coach or the GM. Now, if they would have lost to the Knicks in 4-2, he might be still employed.
But instead,
you
get 30 pieces in the
end. In a matter of a week.
Yeah.
You're up there, probably got a couple free dinners, some steaks, definitely some Philly cheesesteaks, right, at the best places.
Mhm.
And less than a week later, you're having a conversation with the owner that's probably not too pleasant.
Bunch of interesting names getting thrown out for new GM of the Sixers then. Elton Brand, who's had his crack as leadership, right? Both in some roles in Philly. I think Atlanta is where he was at for a little bit as well. The other one, very connected to relatively new Sixers owner Josh Harris, is Bob Myers, who had just stepped away from the Golden State Warriors within the last 2 years.
And he's like a consultant.
Yeah.
Mhm. So he's I think I saw Stephen A. Smith like you need to consult your way into being a GM, stop playing games. Sometimes with Bob Myers, it's easier to go out on top and be thought of as the modern day era guru at GM. That's why you're kind of like, I'll consult and I'll hire you a guy so you don't ruin your reputation.
You know what Bob Myers is trying to do? He's trying to be Jerry West.
Yeah. I don't think that'll happen.
Well, obviously Jerry West was like a much better NBA player, but I mean Jerry West wasn't the GM. He was kind of the shadow hand behind a lot when the Clippers got good.
Right.
But he didn't want the credit. He wanted the GM role.
Right. He was kind of like the sign-off guy.
Mm-hmm.
He fleeced the Lakers for Zubac.
He did.
Or he fleeced Pelinka. I think he can do that. But I think he'd be great in Philly. I think they have a great nucleus. I think he knows how to instill that culture. I think him being the GM, I think gives instant credibility to Coach Nick. And they got to hit on this. If you fire somebody Daryl Morey is still respected. You fire somebody like that, you better have somebody coming in a heavy hitter. You can't bring in no chump.
No chump. No.
And Elton Brand would be great.
Mm-hmm.
He cut his teeth there after he got done playing. Would be, and he's well traveled and he's definitely qualified.
The most interesting idea I saw for what Daryl Morey's next step should be is to be hired by the NBA and reverse engineer the analytics thing. Morey Ball, he wasn't the one that founded it, right? But he was its biggest practitioner, took it to its logical endpoint with Harden and Russ and CP3. And so the person I saw tweet this take out there said, can he be basketball's Theo Epstein? who left, being a Major League Baseball GM to go help in the front office.
Yeah.
In the back of Daryl Morey's mind somewhere, for a guy that, did the math like he did, Northwestern guy, he built his teams on this, somewhere he's been figuring out along the line what'll beat this. What scares us, what takes us out of our rhythm. And if the league can hire him and tap into that, I think that'd go a lot of the way, at least for the casual fan that we hear from on the text line.
Yeah, that probably, I think he's an asset to a team or the NBA for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But not just finding that role. If he's not able to find another GM role or a president role, definitely for the NBA to work in the office and from afar to, bring some intimate knowledge into it so the NBA can better, whether they can better evaluate possible rule changes or the flow of the game and the pace of the game. They definitely have somebody that kind of is part of the creation of this modern day version of how the style is played basketball wise. Be great. So we'll see.
It would be. Let's take a final break, wrap up hour 2 in just a sec.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you looking for a place to host company get-togethers, team meetings, or group events? Back 9 Golf in South Lincoln is the perfect place to host your gathering with private bays available to meet with clients while you swing the sticks and improve your game. Back 9 Golf offers traditional golf opportunities while also providing fun games and activities for non-traditional golfers on their top-of-the-line full-swing simulators. Learn about their corporate memberships today and gather your favorite groups together at Back 9 Golf in South Lincoln, just off of 14th and Pine Lake Road.
Hi, Husker Nation. This is Rex Burkhead. On Lincoln Gives Day, I hope you'll join me in supporting the Team Jack Foundation and their mission to fund life-saving childhood brain cancer research. Kids and families facing brain cancer deserve better treatments and more hope for the future. Every donation helps move that mission forward. You can make your gift today by visiting givetolincoln.com and searching Team Jack. I'm proud to support the Team Jack Foundation and the fight for every child and family affected by brain cancer.
The end of the school year is drawing near, which means graduation parties are coming soon. Are you prepared for hosting? Führer's Cheese Spread is the dip that brings everyone together to celebrate graduations and the close to a great school year. And it goes well with crackers, meats, soups, and more. How could you consider throwing a party without it? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's Cheese Spread. No graduation party is complete without it.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Your sprinklers are watering the street or flooding your backyard. If you're on a list that doesn't exist, it's time for Judson Irrigation. At Judson Irrigation, Lee or Lacey or Judson will make an appointment. You pick the time and they'll be there to fix your sprinkler system. Now that's service, a dying art these days.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
At Cedars, we're here to make sure that kids have the safety and stability that every child deserves, where they're protected and where they feel safe. You make this possible. Today, more than ever, we need your support to be here for kids who have nowhere else to call home. Now through May 28th, make a big impact through Give to Lincoln. Give to Cedars now at givetolincoln.com.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work?
Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket.
Welcome back in. It is Old School. Austin Orman, Jay Foreman with you. Game 3 tonight, Jay. Spurs Thunder in San Antonio. Who you taking?
I'm taking San Antonio.
Okay. No Fox, no Harper, no problem?
Don't matter. They got Castle, and he's a full-fledged gangster. I don't know how many people he's going to keep get out of the way.
Bodied Hartenstein.
And I think Wemby's going to get busy tonight.
I'm still less sold on Mitch Johnson, the coach, but maybe I should be. You know,
I'm not sold on him either.
It was.
Where did he come from?
He was an assistant.
I know, under Pop, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he was a longtime assistant. Apparently, he was in conversations for the Dallas job back when Jason Kidd got it, and there's another job last offseason.
But wasn't there an assistant that they thought was going to get it, and he got it? Or was he the first assistant?
That I don't remember for sure.
I thought there was like a little issue that maybe obviously he was Pop's pick, but,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I forget the exact deal. I mean, I think there was maybe the head coach of the Austin Spurs, the D-League team, was in consideration. I always thought like a Brett Brown could have made a comeback, or I thought that was a sneaky good spot for Mike Malone, potentially.
Right.
Budenholzer is from the Pop tree, but I didn't see it quite as much. Udoka's obviously in Houston. He's a Pop guy, and I don't think that would play quite as well.
There not enough activity for him down there.
Right. But it's going to be big for the Spurs to find. I mean, you're going to have to manufacture one more win.
Yeah.
You know, there's always going to be hard pressed to win 2 in OKC. I mean, if you hold serve at home, you just give home court advantage right back to the Thunder. That's going to be a tough team to take a 3-1 lead on.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is must-see basketball. I think the first 2 games have been great. I don't think you can expect 30 points again from Caruso. So that's where, if I'm the Spurs, I think we're in a good spot. I think you're going to have a better game from Wemby. I think, he missed 2 open threes. You think he makes 1 when they were making their run. He missed 2 of them when they were trying to make their run to come back. He didn't. You get that going, and they shoot the ball a little bit better. And I know they're down Harper and Fox, and that's where you got, Harrison Barnes. This is where you got to get 6 to 8 points. You got to be effective.
Your Jerry Garcia game.
Yeah. So you got it. I mean, if you do that and you're at home, and what they say when you're at home, the bench players play like starters, starters play like all-stars, and so the advantage is the Spurs.
How big of a carryover from game 1 was there into game 2 for either team? Because, I mean, Wemby played a career high in minutes and went to double overtime.
Yeah, he looked
happen.
a little tired.
But guess what? There's a bunch of Thunder players that did the same thing. You think that's just the being at home role player corollary that you're talking about there?
Yeah, I think the Thunder played really, really well. Shot really well, top to bottom. You saw a little bit more aggressive, Shea going to the rack, shot the ball well. But also I think Wemby was worn out a little bit. I think they made an emphasis of kind of getting into him and making it kind of a grimy type of game.
Legally or illegally.
Constantly, touching him, grabbing him and all that. But the one thing that he's shown the ability to do, and obviously he has a great support system with the Admiral David Robinson involved, Tim Duncan, obviously Pop, and obviously the coaching staff.
And all those monks.
He adjusts after a game like that. And this is where, the discipline is where he got it from the monks. This is where he's going to have to get that KG mentality where him and KG spend some time together. And that's where I think you can see that fire from the Frenchman.
Yeah.
He don't play like an average Frenchman.
No, he does not.
And his little brother can play too. Watch out. I'm telling you. His little brother is just as good.
Might be more like basketball skilled, but is not 7'4".
No. It was only like, 7'1"?
Only 7'1".
Yeah, 7'1". And then
Shrimp.
Then have you, on another note, you seen that dude from Finland?
Oh, Mika Murinen? Yeah. Slim Jesus?
Yeah. Hey.
I've been told his motor runs a little more cold than hot. But when he's engaged, when he's locked in.
Yeah, we got to get every game's a big game. Yeah. He but when he gets going,
watch out.
Yeah.
I'm with it. All right. No, you got to dip.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here. Have a good weekend, partner.
All right, man. See you next week.
We'll be back
for
that.
A lot next. It'll be middle of the week next week.
I know.
All right.
All right. We're out of here.
Man.
See you for hour 3.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Doctors in Lincoln go out of business every year, leaving sprinkler system orphans begging for service. The folks at Judson Irrigation shed a tear for these little fellas. They've been coddling these orphans for more than 40 years. From redesign, repairing, replacing, and restoring, remember the Judson Irrigation Orphanage.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Are you looking for a fresh new hangout spot? Let me tell you about Liquid Assets Sports Bar, where Mondays mean new weekly drink and food features. With 23 taps, a full lineup of cans and bottles, and 40 TVs blasting every sports package out there, you'll never worry about missing a play. Savor high-end spirits at their stylish top-shelf bar, enjoy a healthy menu, family-friendly atmosphere, and catch all of your favorite teams every day. Doors open daily at 11 a.m. Liquid Assets Sports Bar, located at 2755 Jamie Lane in South Lincoln.
Man, whenever I use a sports book, I feel like I'm just getting robbed blind.
Dude, you've got to delete that app. You need to be using Polymarket.
Polymarket? How are they any different?
Polymarket is a prediction market, not a sports book. You trade against other fans just like you, not the house. That means more money for you and less for those greedy sports books.
For real?
Yep. Sports books take around $9 on a $100 position and then pay out around $500. Polymarket pays out $650 on that same position.
What's the catch?
No catch. Even better, it's available in all 50 states. Polymarket is so confident that you'll never go back, they're giving you $50 free on your first trade.
I'm deleting my sportsbook app. How do I get started?
Download Polymarket now and use promo code HEAT for $50 free for your first trade. Stop letting sportsbooks steal from you. Download Polymarket and use promo code HEAT for $50 free on your first trade. Use promo code HEAT.
Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Now's the time to lock in the best deal of the year on a new John Deere sprayer during Landmark Implement's Sprayer Early Order Program. Leverage the industry's latest technology with See and Spray. Target weeds with precision and cut herbicide use. Utilize Exact Apply to save in chemical usage and prevent over-application. Don't forget, secure early order savings and get the sprayer that maximizes every pass. Visit your Landmark location for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
I am Harrison Arns, producer of Ticket Weeknights and Weekends right here at 93.7 The Ticket. My favorite things to do in downtown Lincoln are checking out all the local sports events, whether it's basketball, football, volleyball, or even Lincoln Stars hockey. I enjoy it all because I get to experience one of the best sports communities in the country.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you looking for something different for lunch or dinner in Lincoln? Big 8 is now open at 1226 P Street, serving seafood boils and Asian cuisine. Get your hands messy with fresh, flavorful seafood boils, hot, cold, and made to share. Or enjoy classic Chinese and Asian dishes, perfect for lunch, dinner, or a night out with friends and family. Big flavors, generous portions, and a brand new dining experience. Big 8, now open in Lincoln.
The end of the school year is drawing near, which means graduation parties are coming soon. Are you prepared for hosting? Führer's Cheese Spread is the dip that brings everyone together to celebrate graduations and the close to a great school year. And it goes well with crackers, meats, soups, and more. how could you consider throwing a party without it? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No graduation party is complete without it.
Tomorrow is about the lessons we learn today. A farmer's market teaches us that community is grown together. Kids laughing shows us how joy is easy. And coffee on the porch reminds us to savor every moment. These are the lessons that shape a tomorrow we all share. One filled with trust, good company, and wide open dreams. That's the way banking should be. And that's Pinnacle Bank. Member FDIC.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time. And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln. Your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in hour 3 of Old School. Just because Jay Foreman's gone doesn't mean the show is gone. Don't worry, got another hour coming your way. We will take you up till 6 p.m. here with Old School. And who knows, that could be about the time postgame starts. Husker softball kicking some tail right now, looking to take the season series if they can, at least the advantage in the season series, and a 2-1 lead in it. They are up 7-0 in the top of the 4th inning over Oklahoma State right now. It was a Jesse Farrell home run, a 3-run home run there in the first inning. They got Nebraska on the board. And then in the bottom of the 3rd, another 2 RBI single from Jesse Farrell, an RBI ground out from Casey Hoffman, and an RBI ground out from Bella Bacon puts Nebraska up 7-0. With that, we bring in Harrison Ahrens. Harrison, happy Friday. How are you?
Doing fantastic. You got to check on your guy, Jay, though.
My guy, Jay? What about him?
His hearing is awful. My eardrums about exploded with this headset that I put on there. So I don't know if he's having some hearing problems that he's getting up there.
He's got Terrell Farley-itis.
Yeah, seasoned in his years. But no, I'm doing fantastic. All jokes aside there. And yeah, nice little pleasant. Well, I turn around, look at the score there, and you see 7-0 Huskers softball after what was the most anticlimactic game yesterday. Inning
what
and a
game
half.
Yesterday?
Well, we got an inning and a half.
You did.
We did have a dance competition. So there was
True.
some form of competition going on yesterday. But after all that chaos, it is nice to get rewarded with, so far, what looks to be a very promising start for Husker softball.
Again, 7-0 in the top of the 4th with 1 out there. Nebraska will just need to then win one more game over the next 2 days to advance to the Women's College World Series for the first time since 2013. Update on Husker baseball is there is no update. So
yeah,
we will keep posted on that
one update that isn't Husker related at all. How about the Oklahoma softball taking a tough upset loss? I believe it was Mississippi State. I want to say they put together like 8 runs in the last 2 innings, and that's a rough number. I'm not exactly sure what is off the top of my head there, but I mean, this time of year is magical because you just get these matchups. You see these upsets, whether it's in softball, baseball. We'll get there before we know it with regionals and super regionals. But man, every time you think you have a good idea, even for this game right here, I know Nebraska softball has proven that they've been a solid team all year long, and it's going to be tough. I don't think there's a team in the country that can match the pairing that we have with Jensen and Fromm. But you're looking, it's like, okay, you beat South Dakota State, you beat Grand Canyon, great work. Didn't necessarily blow them away. Then Here comes Oklahoma State with one of the best pitching staffs out there in the country, and it's like, well, take 7-0, and I don't even know what inning it is. It is
top of the 4th.
Yeah, top of the 4th inning, and we got 7 runs on the board already. It's just such an unpredictable.
Did they score
sport.
7 runs all regional?
No, I don't think.
Was it 2-1, 4-2,
2,
and was it 1-0 or was it 2-1 again?
I think it was 2-1 again.
So they scored what? No more than 10 runs all regional.
No. So I mean,
you can look up the official numbers here.
Yeah, I think we're pretty close to it, but this game alone is about matching pretty close to what their total through the entire regionals was so far. And that's a great thing for Nebraska. They can keep teams at such low scores and really keep the runs down with that elite pitching staff that they have. But
it was 7 runs. It was 4-1, 2-0, and 1-0.
That's just incredible.
They scored as many runs in 3 innings as they did in, that'd be 18 innings or 19 innings, I suppose, officially in the entire regional before.
Well, this is a great sign because I think that was maybe the one question mark people would have on this Nebraska softball team is like, we know, again, on the mound, this team's arguably one of the best in the country, if not the best in the country. It's okay, when the bats get rolling here, can Nebraska keep up with some of these teams that you see in the SEC, ACC? And so far in this one with Oklahoma State, they're kind of a pitching battle team too. I mean, they're really excellent on the mound. So, you know, I'm not expecting Oklahoma State to go crazy with the runs. Although, if you look at what they did in the regionals, the bats were hot for them. I mean, they put together, I think, a program record for their program record history for the most runs in regionals. So they were very hot on the bats coming into it. You can talk about the strengths of the opponents they were playing, but so far, not able to get anything on the Huskers.
Not so far. 2 hits and no runs for the Pokes. Through 4, Jordy Fromm does it again. This was maybe an oversight on my part, not tracking the stats as closely, but it just seemed like every time I tuned in to watch Jordy pitch, it was, she gave a couple hits here. Oh, there's a run off Jordy. And she's still good. You know, does the opposition still fear her? Like, oh, maybe Alexis Jensen has passed her even as a freshman, her first time out. Well, shame on me. Jordy Fromm still led the team in appearances with 38 of them, 19 starts, 15 complete games. Pretty incredible. Yeah. Alexis Jensen, 24 games started, 6 complete games. Jordy Fromm, 1.15 ERA. Alexis Jensen, 2.45 ERA. Jordy, 163 innings, 110 hits, 31 runs allowed in 163.2 innings. 27 of them were earned with 225 strikeouts against 28 walks entering today. On the flip side, Alexis Jensen, incredible freshman year. Again, 2.45 ERA, 24-2. 1-loss record, 145 innings pitched, so 18 fewer innings and 5 fewer appearances than Jordy, but gave up 3 more hits, 28 more runs, 59 total, 51 earned, walked 6 more, struck out 15 fewer, gave up, let me do some quick math, 45 extra base hits, held opponents to a 205 batting average. Jordy gave up 26 extra base hits total.
That's insane. Because Alexis Jensen's phenomenal.
Really
those stats right there, like phenomenal pitcher. But then, like to compare it with Fromm, and you really do start to see where Fromm kind of stands in her own territory.
Yeah.
And all that kind of circle back. So that's what I mean. Like, I just don't think there's anybody in the country that's going to match what Nebraska has on the mound throughout this entire tournament with those two, especially when they're humming the way they are as they were through regionals and in this game so far. But yeah, I mean, it's fun to watch. I got a smile on my face because this has been one of the best springs I've had since I think I started working here in 2020, around COVID time is the way I remember it. But spring has been this full of smiles in a while. You know, Ron Revell's had that program cooking. Some of her staff's been there 30+ years. And you're seeing, you know, a veteran team that's got a lot of leaders on it. But you're kind of seeing the culmination of just like a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and looking like a complete product. And then, of course, baseball, we'll talk about it when that one happens at 9 p.m. or, 6 p.m. We have no idea when that game's really going to start. UCLA produced 6 p.m., and then we'll follow that one, whatever it may be. But it's a good time in the spring. Lots of good things happening for Huskerland.
Well, and how about this? Not only does Jordy Fromm have a 1.15 ERA, she also has the highest batting average of every qualified Husker. Okay, at 421. She's slugging 848. She has an on-base percentage of 516. She's walked 7 more times than she struck out. And if you include hit by pitches, she's taken a free base 15 more times than she struck out all year long. Of her 75 hits, 34 of them have gone for extra bases.
You know, when people say we like to do like the comparisons a lot, this is one of the few times where like the Shohei Ohtani's been referenced over and over and over, but it works.
Yeah.
Like you can like totally see it. And like when you put up those stats, and it's also the same way they've kind of, you know, got the hype around the sport as well. Softball fans here in Nebraska have always been great. We've had season ticket holders that have been loyal regardless of what the record may indicate. But to have Fromm in here, and then you kind of saw a culmination of like some of the Huskers, well, not Huskers, but some of the Nebraska natives that moved on to other schools come back and follow that. And then the fan base falls. So you only have the fan base that Ohtani brings, that Fromm brings, and then you just, I mean, with all the stats you read right there, obviously we're talking elite talent. I mean, that's generational talent that you just don't know the next time you're going to see a player of that when they can do, especially on both ends like that.
ESPN's flashing a graphic up on screen right now. Jordy Fromm last year, 23 home runs and 26 wins on the mound. Going 2020 is obviously hard to do. She is 1 more home run and 1 more pitching win away, which she would be in line for right now, from being the first player in school history to go 2020.
And she's currently multiple times. So we'll keep an update on that.
Run rule watch is in effect. Well, we'll see if that happens. You did mention that Mississippi State and Oklahoma game. Oklahoma ended up the number 3 overall seed nationally, one spot ahead of Nebraska, who got the number 4 national seed, which again, I still think is bull crap. And I said as much a couple weeks ago. Anyways, Mississippi State led that game 1-0. Oklahoma came back to take a 6-2 lead in the bottom of the 4th. Went a couple innings without scoring. In the top of the 6th, Mississippi State tied it at 6th. In the bottom, here come the Sooners. Kendall Wells hit another home run. Make it 39 on the year for her, a 3-run shot. Oklahoma's up 3 with 3 outs to get. Well, don't look now. Here come the Bulldogs. They score 4 runs in the top of the 7th inning. Oh, sorry, no, I can do math. It'd be 5 runs in the top of the 7th inning. I was looking at the Oklahoma one. 5 runs in the top of the 7th inning to take the lead over Oklahoma, and then they close it out. Essentially, they scored 4 in the 6th to tie it, give up 3, and then score 5 in the 7th to take the lead. 11 runs on 15 hits for the Bulldogs, 9 runs on 13 hits. But how about this? Wildly uncharacteristic for Oklahoma, 4 errors in that game. And now the Sooners are 1 game away from being eliminated.
I mean, I'm not going to frown about it. I know, though, down there in Sooner Nation, they might. But that's surprising. I didn't realize it was that many errors. I saw the real big one. If anyone's got the softball algorithm on their feed, which I'm sure a lot of people do this time of year, that one's been going viral. A bad pitch to first base that went wild, and then Mississippi State started running bases in. And again, it's just kind of the magic of it. You just don't really know what's going to happen. Oklahoma, I could have told you, I thought maybe they're a little bit fraudulent all the way up there at 3. But that was my opinion. But it's nice to see Mississippi State, go at them, hand them their first loss in the best 2 of 3 series.
7-0 Nebraska here in the bottom of the 4th inning, 2 away. Hannah Kamens is coming to bat. I do want to talk a little baseball here as well, Harrison. I posted a tweet a couple days ago, a few days ago now. Nebraska baseball tweeted out about Dylan Carey. He was named the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Obviously, first team All Big Ten, which is still very tough to do in a league that features Rock Chalowski, presumptive number 1 overall draft pick come June in the MLB draft. And Dylan Carey was a Big Ten All-Defensive team. My tweet was this. I said I was not impressed by Dylan Carey during his first couple seasons. He and the coaching staff deserve all the credit in the world for patching up his swing, approach, and glove work. He stayed the course and has earned everything. Mad respect. Let me just take you through kind of the career arc here for Dylan Carey. So he was a freshman in 2023, playing pretty much every day, I believe. If I find that, Jamie, he played 53 games out of the 57 that Nebraska ended up playing. 275 batting average. He ended that year with 57 hits and 49 strikeouts. Okay, not a great ratio. Now we're going for him. Okay, he's a freshman, so be it. And then in the field, Dylan Carey ended up with a 963 fielding percentage and 5 errors. Again, freshman, growing pains. Okay, not bad. Let's see what you got the next year. We move ahead then to 2024. Nebraska plays 62 games total there in 2024. Dylan Carey's average drops by just a couple of points, but he ends the year with 60 hits and 63 strikeouts. He struck out more than he got a hit of any sort, even just a measly single. Oh, and by the way, his fielding percentage went down a little bit. He added 4 more errors to his tally. 9 errors in a 959 fielding percentage. Okay, then in 2025, a little bit of a bounce back for Dylan Carey. The average certainly spikes in another 62 games. He ends up with 64 hits and 54 strikeouts.
Okay.
Again, not exactly the ratio that you're going for.
At least in the right direction.
And 13 errors, down to a 949 fielding percentage for an everyday shortstop. That's not good. Which is why I think this year has been so incredible. It felt like Dylan Carey came back a different player in a lot of ways. And I've said this on this program before. The light bulb really comes on at different times for different people. The light switch turns to the on position at different times. And it really felt like, for whatever reason, it was this year for Dylan Carey. Maybe it was being jilted by the MLB draft and teams not taking it. Maybe it was going to a facility they hadn't gone to before. Maybe it's just being older, a little bit more mature, whatever it is. Dylan Carey's still striking out a little bit more than I would like him to. I mean, 46 Ks this year, not leading Nebraska by any means. He still only walked 18 times, a pretty free swinger, only a 420 on base percentage out of a middle of the order bat. But his slugging percentage is the highest of any qualified Husker. In fact, the highest of any Husker on the team at 622. He's actually doing consistent damage. 14 homers, 16 doubles, and 2 triples among his 78 hits. His batting average is up like 60, 70 points year over year, up almost 100 points from where it was as as a freshman and a sophomore. He's batting .347 this year with the good leadership and all the soft skills that you want. But Dylan Carey, a .980 fielding percentage this year, his best by about 20 points, and a career low in errors with only 4. You know, there were the outlines of a good player in Dylan Carey that just weren't showing through specifically. And again, I don't want to portray this as I was anti-Dylan Carey.
Right.
Obviously, one of the best for the young man. He started shortstop at Nebraska. But
I think it's fair to point that second year in particular, it's fair to point out like the direction of where he was heading. But then what's nice where you read the stats this year that he had that bounce back.
Right. I mean, coming off of Spencer Schwellenbach at shortstop in 2021, you had the Bryce Matthews experiment at shortstop there in 2022, and Bryce was fine. You know, middle infielder, definitely, but between him and Dylan Carey and whatnot, it just wasn't working for Nebraska up the middle. I am so impressed by the leap that Dylan Carey has taken.
What do you think like the biggest changes in his game are that's led him to have this season? I'll pick your brand because I think I played baseball like in 3rd grade and that was it for me. Like, what do you see in his game that's kind of elevated him?
Well, I don't want to sell the young man short because I think just a big part of it is getting older.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and being in college for this long now, he's seen a lot. He's been through a lot. But I think you see the fielding percentage especially go up. A lot of guys have a reputation of, you know, bat first or glove first. For Dylan Carey to put in that work and get to a .980 fielding percentage, only 4 errors in like 190 chances, give or take. That's incredible. That's really good work for a guy that's played shortstop every day, essentially, for Nebraska so far this year. So you credit him for sticking around at Nebraska, trusting the process, seeing it through. You absolutely, you know, credit his age. He's an older player in college now, and he's putting it to good use. You absolutely credit his work ethic, I think, is really what it goes to. And you want to give the coaching staff a tip of the cap for obviously not giving up on him when he was young and saying, sorry, we're recruiting over you because you weren't what we thought you were going to be as a sophomore, for figuring out what those holes in his game were, whether there was a hole in his glove, a hole in his fielding approach, a hole in his bat, right? I mean, again, still strikes out a little bit too much for my liking, but he's cut it down. Certainly as a percentage of his at-bats so far this year, much closer to like a 21-ish, 22% strikeout rate, give or take, which you can live with for a guy that's giving you that much power.
Yeah, he's got a real threat behind him now to where you can live with that, where he's got enough threat to, again, it's not ideal to have that many strikeouts, but when you have that kind of power behind your bat and that accuracy where you're able to start hitting like that, you can live with it.
Yeah, so as a freshman, Dylan Carey had 49 strikeouts, and he had 15 extra base hits, 4 homers, 2 triples, and 3 doubles. As a sophomore, get out of the way there, Dylan Carey had those 63 strikeouts with 7 home runs and 18 doubles. Okay, as a junior then in 2025, Dylan Carey, 54 strikeouts, 8 homers, and 20 doubles. So again, like the slug is there, it's getting there. But then this year it's been taken to a whole nother level. You have 32 extra base hits against 46 strikeouts. It's hard to have a 1-to-1 strikeout to walk to extra base hit ratio, and Dylan Carey's walks are too low for that, and strikeouts are a little too high. It's still not an elite approach by any means. I mean, he'll still swing away.
Right.
But that's who he is, and at least now there's the thump there to make it worthwhile. If he was just a free swinger, if he didn't have any lineup protection behind him, you credit the guys in front of him for getting on base to provide traffic where pitchers generally get a little bit less effective. There's a lot that's gone into making this by far the best season of Dylan Carey's career. He's come up in a bunch of big spots and delivered for Nebraska baseball.
Well, I wonder how much
and I'm
of it is
floored. I never saw this coming.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, like, was just I wonder how much is confidence. You know, talking about like the big moments that he's had, and especially when you go like to the Big Ten tournament last year, a team that, you know, not a lot of eyes on it for obvious reasons, wasn't the best season, but then to run through the Big Ten tournament, and he had some key moments in there along with other guys. But even this year, you know, I wonder how much of it is his confidence just continue to grow, and of course the work ethic and all the tweaks he's put into it. But you know, I think you just see a little bit of that X factor in him at this point, where he's a guy out there where if Nebraska's, we've seen it before, whether it was that Iowa Saturday game where you give up 5 runs and then you answer with I think 7 in the bottom of the 8th inning, where he was part of that, and obviously everyone was. We went through the entire lineup about twice in the bottom of that 8th, but we've just had some moments where I think he's had to step up, and when he's delivered, you know, I wonder how much with baseball for how much of a mental game it is. This Nebraska team, him and then collectively, I think are just riding that wave, and you're seeing a lot of success with it.
Speaking of a lot of success, Husker softball continues to have it. They hold Oklahoma State scoreless. They head to the bottom of the fifth. Nebraska still leading 7-0. We'll go to break. When we get back, we'll talk some Drew Grigo, Big Ten Freshman of the Year, kind of out of nowhere. Well, nowhere is Bellevue West High School, of course. So an in-state product delivering a really good breakdown of Drew Grigo stats compared to some other recent freshman standouts at Nebraska. He's Harrison Arns. I'm Austin Norman. This is Old School, brought to you by Graham Tire. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
I am Harrison Arns, producer of Ticket Weeknights and Weekends right here at 93.7 The Ticket. My favorite things to do in downtown Lincoln are checking out all the local sports events, whether it's basketball, football, volleyball, or even Lincoln Stars hockey. I enjoy it all because I get to experience one of the best sports communities in the country.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you looking for a fresh new hangout spot? Let me tell you about Liquid Assets Sports Bar, where Mondays mean new weekly drink and food features. With 23 taps, a full lineup of cans and bottles, and 40 TVs blasting every sports package out there, you'll never worry about missing a play. Savor high-end spirits at their stylish top-shelf bar, enjoy a healthy menu, family-friendly atmosphere, and catch all of your favorite teams every day. Doors open daily at 11 a.m. Liquid Assets Sports Bar, located at 2755 Jamie Lane in South Lincoln.
At Cedars, we're here to make sure that kids have the safety and stability that every child deserves, where they're protected and where they feel safe. You make this possible. Today, more than ever, we need your support to be here for kids who have nowhere else to call home. Now through May 28th, make a big impact through Give to Lincoln. Give to Cedars now at givetolincoln.com.
Are you looking for a place to host company get-togethers, team meetings, or group events? Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the perfect place to host your gathering with private bays available to meet with clients while you swing the sticks and improve your game. Back Nine Golf offers traditional golf opportunities while also providing fun games and activities for non-traditional golfers on their top-of-the-line full-swing simulators. Learn about their corporate memberships today and gather your favorite groups together at Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln, just off of 14th and Pine Lake Road.
Right now in Lincoln, neighbors are facing hunger and homelessness, and they need our help. Your donation to Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach for Give to Lincoln Day helps provide nutritious meals, safe shelter, and life-changing support. Your gift goes even further thanks to matching funds from the Lincoln Community Foundation. Working together, we can make our community stronger by ensuring that everyone has access to nutritious food and a safe place to sleep at night. Give to Matt Talbot today or anytime through May 28th at givetolincoln.com.
Are you looking for something different for lunch or dinner in Lincoln? Big 8 is now open at 1226 P Street, serving seafood boils and Asian cuisine. Get your hands messy with fresh, flavorful seafood boils, hot, cold, and made to share. Or enjoy classic Chinese and Asian dishes, perfect for lunch, dinner, or a night out with friends and family. Big flavors, generous portions, and a brand new dining experience. Big 8, now open in Lincoln.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Now's the time to lock in the best deal of the year on a new John Deere sprayer during Landmark Implement's Sprayer Early Order Program. Leverage the industry's latest technology with See and Spray. Target weeds with precision and cut herbicide use. Utilize Exact Apply to save in chemical usage and prevent over-application. Don't forget, secure early order savings and get the sprayer that maximizes every pass. Visit your Landmark location for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is Old School. Old School brought to you by Graham Tire Company. Lots of good stuff going on over at Graham Tire Company, including their celebration of 75 years of serving the Midwest. More than just tires, they do all kinds of car and light truck repairs, too. From brakes to oil changes, trust Graham Tire for service you can count on. It's Graham Tire, getting you to the places that matter most. Obviously, Graham Tire, like we said, more than just tires, but they do have a Memorial Day tire sale going on. You probably heard that spot playing throughout the day. Get to any of your 4 Lincoln locations there for Graham Tire Company. They're all across the Midwest, too. So go check them out if your car is losing some tread on the tires. Find a way. Get yourself to Graham Tire here for their Memorial Day tire sale. Looks like Samantha Blaine Caitlin Caneda just got hosed at the plate there as a runner. Rhonda Ravel's going to run a review. Throw and the ball definitely beat the runner home.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if the tag was applied in time or not. Were you listening? Were you on the board for the Millard North straight steal of home? Or the Papio South straight steal of home? It was Millard North.
I don't think I was on that one.
So one of the fastest guys in the state is there on third base.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was Millard North and Millard South in that game. Millard South was leading 2-0. Millard North comes back to tie it up at 2-2. They have the go-ahead run at third base with 2 outs. And Millard South's pitcher is in the windup. And so the kid steals home. They'd been like deking it and faking it all game long and then finally just went for it.
No way.
And I think the dude would have been safe if he slid like on the inside part of the baseline.
Oh, they got
him. But he continued straight down the line. And if the catcher has to lean that much further forward, he might be safe. Obviously, there's no review in high school as well. But I hadn't seen anything like that. Did the state tournament. Kid got a perfect break. Pitcher made a perfect throw home, which doesn't always happen in that situation. You panic, step off. What do you talk? Oh, crap, I got to throw it home. You rush it, you spike it, you throw it to the backstop. But then Millard North goes on to take the lead and win the game.
That is brutal.
It was
that's
wild.
Movie-esque, though.
It was.
That's anytime you get a situation. I mean, it's just rare. You don't see it a whole lot. And in that stage, in that moment, man, that is gut-wrenching that he didn't get it, though. I was not there. I would have remembered that one if I was board hopping for it. I'm sure you guys were hooting and hollering. Was it you and Nick Sainer?
Yeah, me and Sainer were on the call. We're trying to wrap our minds around, wait a minute, that just happened in a game of this magnitude, of these stakes. I think that would have been that's probably the 10 o'clock game on. Yeah, because that's the game that sent Millard North to championship. So that would have been the 10 o'clock game on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't have been you.
No, that is crazy. No, I missed that one. But if you want to listen to it, I'm sure it got cut up. You can look at our social media. Best calls of those tournament games throughout all of Class A. We have all those on our site. So I would be ashamed if that one wasn't in that mix there. I'm sure it is.
I'm sure it's there as well. It was a crazy moment. Again, tomorrow we'll have all 3 championship games here on the ticket. Class C at noon, Class B at 3:30, and Class A at 7 p.m. Turning our attention back to Husker baseball, Harrison, the rise of Drew Grigo, in-state product, Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Grant Hansen with Walnut Media, good dude, seen him around more and more, covering Husker stuff. Put Drew Grigo's stats side by side with a couple kind of all-time Husker freshman seasons. So Drew Grigo versus Alex Gordon.
Okay.
Grigo, average higher by 30 points, slugging percentage higher by about 80 points, 4 fewer RBI, same number of home runs, same number of doubles, 14 fewer hits, but in 14 fewer games played.
Okay, that's a great comparison then. You like that. If you're a Grigo fan, you'll love that stat. That looks well.
Comparing that to Max Anderson then, Grigo, 3 more games played, average 16 points higher, slugging percentage 75 points higher, 12 more runs driven in, same number of home runs with 7, 5 more doubles, and 6 fewer hits.
Okay. How many more names you got on the list? How many
just one.
Okay.
Then Matt Hopper.
Okay.
16 fewer games for Grigo. Hopper's average was 0.04 of a point higher. Slugging percentage, a full 102 points higher. Hopper ends up with 27 more RBI, 14 more home runs, 1 more double, and 28 more hits. So probably not the all-time best Husker baseball freshman season. Shout out to Matt Hopper and his legendary redshirt freshman season.
Incredible.
Not just true freshman season, right? So Hopper had a year in college baseball beforehand, but to bust onto the scene with 21 home runs, even in that era, Drew Grigo certainly compares favorably to some of the better Husker freshman seasons of the last 20 years.
Absolutely. What do you think like the best version of Grigo that we get out of him? Like, how do you see his career continue to develop here in Nebraska if we're lucky enough to keep him?
The Major League Baseball comparison that I would go to would be like a Corbin Carroll.
Okay.
For the Arizona Diamondbacks. The pop was more real than I thought it was going to be. That's a guy I don't recall seeing very much, if at all, during opening weekend down there in Phoenix. Maybe a little bit more in Dallas, but then as you got further into the non-con, that's where I tend to remember seeing Drew Grigo's name pop up a little bit, but not the biggest guy. I think 5'10" officially. Good bat speed, though, and that's really what matters. I have the stats pulled up here somewhere. It'd be this one. Yeah, this one. I mean, Grigo at 348 average in 48 games played. 39 strikeouts, kind of high, but 16 walks and 13 hit by pitches. 444 on base percentage there as a freshman with a 576 slug. That's pretty dang good, you know?
Oh, yeah, as a freshman, you'll take that.
Yeah, 7 homers, 13 doubles, and a triple to boot in there as well. Certainly a promising freshman campaign there for Drew Grigo. I know, talking with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald, corner outfield was going to be an issue for Nebraska. Who takes those spots? Who settles in? Will Jeske was an option, but had the hamstring injury. Max Butenbach was in and out of the lineup. Drew Grigo got a chance, never looked back for it. And, you know, I don't want to say just because there's a local kid, there's no way that he transfers. We've seen it happen before. But probably the best you feel about Nebraska's right field situation since, like, Aaron Polensky, maybe?
Yeah, you could go there.
I did, so I will.
Fair enough, you did. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice spot. It just, especially when you get these native grown spots. Will Bolt's put together, you know, a heck of a resume. It wasn't that long ago where the Will Bolt conversation was a little bit sour. I mean, even last year at times, I want to say it got sour, especially the way things got rolling. And you know, where we got 2 Big Ten champions, you get a guy in Grigo, and you're able to get these natives. And then we talked about Carey. You're able to develop guys. Like these past few seasons, the track record, and the biggest thing for me in all sports is development. So I'll be keeping an eye on Mr. Grigo and continue to see how he develops with what so far has been a stellar start to a freshman campaign. But I think that's just kind of been the recipe of Will Bolt is we're seeing guys, even if the season starts rocky, at least we're seeing progression as the season continues to go on, which is by far the biggest thing. I use it for Husker football all the time. You know, are you beginning of the year, do you think that team's worse or better than the team you saw in the last game?
Right.
And usually that's a pretty good way to figure out, like, are we on the right trajectory? And with Husker baseball, despite what was a really rough start last year, as the season went on, they got better this year. I'd say the biggest letdown you had was that series weekend out there at Ohio State. But the guys got back together to bounce back, and we'll see what happens tonight. But you're just kind of seeing continued development from the guys, and Will Bolt, and then Grigo and Carey. You're pulling out some good stats today. That just makes me smile about the baseball program.
The future should be bright. It really should. And I was one of those that was maybe, I don't know if sour on Will Bolt was necessarily it, but the direction of the program just kind of generally, especially after the extension. You know, Will Bolt, and I think Nick and I had this conversation at one point. Do you feel like Will Bolt has elevated the program from where it was under Darren Erstad? My gut would have told me it feels about the same, but Will Bolt's about to make, you know, another regional to have as many, if not more, than Darren Erstad did. Nebraska's won 40 games. He's already won 40 games more times than Darren Erstad did at Nebraska. Definitely 2 different styles of programs. My biggest thing with Nebraska, and the reason I think it's felt a little underwhelming to me, is because it took winning the Big Ten tournament last year and maybe even 2 years ago to cement your spot in the field. You know, whether or not Nebraska wins it this year, maybe they just dominate that tournament and they make it 3 in a row. But even if they don't, they're in the tournament and they still might be hosting. Now, hosting's a big ask. It is. Only 16 teams get to do it. And I don't think that hosting every year is realistic for Nebraska, even if I think it's a worthwhile, you know, kind of target and goal to aim for. But even if Nebraska's not hosting, they need to be a solid 2 going into the Big Ten tournament. Not on the line between a 2 and a 3, you know, bubble out depending on if there's a bid stealer or anything. And that's where I feel like Nebraska's next step can be, to where this does right now feel like a historic year. Like, hey, this is really cool for Husker baseball. Haven't seen this in a while. Once every 5 years at this point. Even if this isn't every year, Nebraska's got to perennially be, 37 plus wins as a program. I think it's out there for Nebraska, even if they schedule really aggressively in the non-con. I was worried about the extension that Troy Dannon gave because it just felt like, oh, you're not embarrassing us here. I don't want to think about you for a while. And, they're getting the facilities upgrades for baseball and softball, whether that's donor booster related or athletic department related, doesn't really matter. They're still doing it. I think it's a good enough program and has shown enough promise these last few years that it deserves attention. It deserves to be invested in. And I hope that the extension that the Troy Dannon gave wasn't just a, hey, thanks for not embarrassing us. Just stay out of the way, do your job, and I'll stay out of yours. I hope it's actually a, hey, I trust you, so I'm giving you this extension this early on sort of thing.
I'll go back to baseball, but out of curiosity, which extension, I don't know if bothered's the right word, but maybe perplexed you more, Matt Rule or Will Bolt?
Well, different, same for different reasons.
Okay.
Yeah,
but they both hover around that.
Let's see it sort of thing.
Okay, fair enough.
Probably the Rule one gives me slightly more pause just because of the pure dollars and cents as well as the years. And then the rationale on top of it, right? Oh, well, it's Penn State, and Penn State's coming after our guy. We can't afford to lose him.
You just hope it wasn't total reactionary.
Right.
That there was cause behind it, not just,
I
got to do
you actually
something.
believe in it.
Yeah.
Right. And, I don't know what Troy Dannon thinks or doesn't think about Nebraska baseball, but, I worry there's maybe, too much attention paid by Troy Dannon to the football program. And so, we can't afford to have this nightmare, lose our coach at this point. It's not going to go well sort of optics versus the Will Bolt one. My fear for that is, well, is the baseball program just going to be what it's been? Hey, I give him this extension. We'll follow back with you at your, quarter decade performance evaluation as opposed to your quarterly performance evaluation or whatever. And Nebraska baseball is good enough. Is developed enough that it doesn't deserve to be put on the back burner. Just given a stay out of the way, I'll stay out of yours extension.
No, the biggest thing, and you kind of mentioned it before, like with Nebraska baseball, hopefully they can maintain the spot that they're in is, I was looking at projections. I think the SEC has like 12 teams projected to be into the tournament, and the ACC is up there with like 8, and then you go to the Big Ten, we're sitting there on round 4. The Big Ten is not a baseball conference. Shocker to everyone out there. I know. If you're in the Big Ten, they're doing the right things. You have to schedule tough non-con early in the year to give yourself a shot to have a reasonable attention on you early, and then you have to just go take care of that Big Ten schedule. And that's where Nebraska, I feel like, has done really well to put themselves in a spot. I've said it forever. If like Nebraska is going to be a consistent team to make the tournament, it's going to be, especially with the addition of the Pac-12, that actually helps us quite a bit because now you get to schedule USC, Oregon, UCLA, and have those matchups. But that's where Nebraska has to be year in, year out, is in that top group in the Big Ten. If they're going to continue to have this sustained success and be able to go into postseason runs and be able to win some tough games early in the year in that non-con, where you don't have to rely on the Big Ten tournament to punch your ticket in. And Nebraska's done that this year, which is fantastic. So that's the part with me where if they can just hold on to that, what they've built and through these past 3 years, and now what's really feels like solidified. We'll see what next year rolls into, but that's the territory Nebraska baseball has to be in and stay in if they're going to be this baseball team that every spring you and me get to sit here and sit here with a smile on our face because we're talking postseason potential for Husker baseball.
It's not fully the Big Ten's fault, but I am going to put some blame on them for the way this Big Ten tournament has been handled with weather. For those of you that might have missed it, Nebraska and Michigan, the hope is that they get it played tonight. They're planning on getting it played tonight. The final game of the day that was supposed to be today, I think it was Washington and Oregon, ended up getting pushed to tomorrow morning officially. So there's a change there. Their hope is that the other games get going on time or relatively close to it. That Michigan UCLA game, I believe it is, will be coming up here in about 15 minutes as far as we know. But, you have this nice little ballpark just down the road, home of the Omaha Mavericks, you could play a game at potentially to get multiple games in. Werner Park is also potentially available.
But the TV deals.
And again, I get why that's the driver. I understand why that matters. And I know that it's not necessarily the cities that are involved in all the planning of this. It's more the conferences, the TV partners, but it's just another sign that even if it's not the Big Ten's fault, it doesn't look good. It looks like baseball is not a priority. Oh, we'll get it in when we can. Oh, sorry, teams. Oh, our hands are tied.
Well, why didn't they play it earlier? There's no rain in Omaha. I mean, it was beautiful.
For the same reason that we were sitting at Warner Park for 4 hours, waiting for first pitch of that final Class A game. I don't know. I wish I knew.
I mean, that
part, the radar looked scary.
That part drives me
I don't know.
Crazy. I don't know if the coaches were involved with this. Like, I know with baseball, it's a lot different than softball, right? Where like to stop a game with a rain delay and then your pitchers to get them back. Like that part, I can understand the concern there. And I don't know if there's like speculation if like the coaches like had some say in this, like why it got pushed always 6 p.m. But like there was a clear window where I thought they definitely could have played. And there is a chance that rain hits and maybe, just maybe there's a rain delay, but even on the radar, it didn't look super threatening. I mean, that's the way this stuff's got to work. You got to let, the committees schedule the bracket, and that's the bracket. The coaches coach, and the Big Ten. It gets so complicated with these TV deals, but unless money, it's going to just suck this way because money's the priority. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's crappy that the
Big Ten hired a guy from Major League Baseball's offices just to care more about a crappy 2014 playoff idea than improving the Big Ten baseball tournament.
Well, and it's just a bad look, And I just, all the USC, Oregon, Washington fans like commenting, they're not happy with Big Ten baseball because they're just kind of looking around like, what are we doing here? And obvious reasons, being in the pack, they had nice weather. They didn't have to deal with this stuff. But when it's this bad, I never want the Big Ten tournament to leave Omaha. But that's the conversation that is nationally being had now. It's like, why do we even have this tournament in Omaha if we got to worry about weather? And I feel like we could have had these games in a reasonable fashion today, or we could announce, instead of keeping fans on the wait, lingering, like, you know what, this is going to be late. Games tomorrow at 9 a.m. Go home. Like, we're just going to get it out now. We're going to move stuff. But like this, well, wait and see, check our update, and whatever it may be. Like that just drives people mad. Yeah. And unfortunately, you're getting that national conversation right now that I've been seeing a lot is why even have it in Omaha? Well, when you're struggling to put tournaments together in a timely fashion, those are the comments you're going to get.
Right. Behold the God who bleeds. Nebraska gives up a run. A solo home run off Jordy Fromm. Is she cooked? No, not yet. Not too worried about it. 7-1 Nebraska softball heading to the bottom of the 6th. We'll wrap up Old School after this on the Ticket.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Graham Tire Company is celebrating 75 years of serving its neighbors throughout the Midwest, and to say thank you, they're giving you a $75 instant rebate on a set of 4 select tires during their Memorial Day tire sale event. You can stack on even more savings with big mail-in rebates on select tires from Goodyear, Cooper, and Hankook. And remember, all tires are on sale right now, making this the perfect time to upgrade before summer driving begins. Hurry in today. Graham Tire, your tire store next door.
Remember your first Salt Dogs game? Maybe it was a class trip out on the berm, or date night with actual fireworks, or team building that didn't feel like work at all. For 25 seasons, Haymarket Park remains Lincoln's place for firsts like these, the kind that last. Because it's more than a baseball game. It's the joy of being here together. These are the traditions that bring us home. So here's to you, Lincoln, where local tradition plays on. Get your tickets at saltdogs.com.
Are you looking for a fresh new hangout spot? Let me tell you about Liquid Assets Sports Bar, where Mondays mean new weekly drink and food features. With 23 taps, a full lineup of cans and bottles, and 40 TVs blasting every sports package out there, you'll never worry about missing a play. Savor high-end spirits at their stylish top-shelf bar, enjoy a healthy menu, family-friendly atmosphere, and catch all of your favorite teams every day. Doors open daily at 11 a.m. Liquid Assets Sports Bar, located at 2755 Jamie Lane in South Lincoln.
Hi, Charlie Stone again, and Andy Goodyear with Honda of Lincoln will be joining me shortly to talk about a milestone accomplishment at Honda of Lincoln. But before I talk to Andy, I'd like to add a comment of my own. I know you have a lot of choices when buying a new or pre-owned vehicle. It was just announced that Honda of Lincoln is once again the winner for the Lincoln's Choice Award for new car dealers. It's not easy to win that award because it's all based on the highest level of customer satisfaction. I think Honda Honda of Lincoln really is your best choice. Now let's talk to Andy.
Thanks, Charlie, and thanks for your.
If you're looking for a workplace that feels like home, Midwest Bank might just be the place. We're hiring a personal banker in Lincoln who enjoys helping others and being a part of a close-knit team. With great perks and a community-focused mission, you'll feel right at home here. Porque aquí todos son bienvenidos. Apply today at Midwest Bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer. Member FDIC.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Right now in Lincoln, neighbors are facing hunger and homelessness, and they need our help. Your donation to Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach for Give to Lincoln Day helps provide nutritious meals, safe shelter, and life-changing support. Your gift goes even further thanks to matching funds from the Lincoln Community Foundation. Working together, we can make our community stronger by ensuring that everyone has access to nutritious food and a safe place to sleep at night. Give to Matt Talbot today or anytime through May 28th at givetolincoln.com.
The end of the school year is drawing near, which means graduation parties are coming soon. Are you prepared for hosting? Führer's Cheese Spread is the dip that brings everyone together to celebrate graduations and the close to a great school year. And it goes well with crackers, meats, soups, and more. How could you consider throwing a party without it? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's Cheese Spread. No graduation party is complete without it.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Are you looking for a place to host company get-togethers, team meetings, or group events? Back 9 Golf in South Lincoln is the perfect place to host your gathering with private bays available to meet with clients while you swing the sticks and improve your game. Back 9 Golf offers traditional golf opportunities while also providing fun games and activities for non-traditional golfers on their top-of-the-line full-swing simulators. Learn about their corporate memberships today and gather your favorite groups together at Back 9 Golf in South Lincoln, just off of 14th and Pine Lake Road.
Man, whenever I use a sports book, I feel like I'm just getting robbed blind.
Dude, you've got to delete that app. You need to be using Polymarket.
Polymarket? How are they any different?
Polymarket is a prediction market, not a sports book. You trade against other fans just like you, not the house. That means more money for you and less for those greedy sports books.
For real?
Yep. Sports books take around $9 on a $100 position and then pay out around $500. Polymarket pays out $650 on that same position.
What's the catch?
No catch. Even better, it's available in all 50 states. Polymarket is so confident that you'll never go back, they're giving you $50 free on your first trade.
I'm deleting my sportsbook app. How do I get started?
Download Polymarket now and use promo code HEAT for $50 free for your first trade. Stop letting sportsbooks steal from you. Download Polymarket and use promo code HEAT for $50 free on your first trade. Use promo code HEAT.
Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is Old School. Austin Orman, Harrison Arons with you one final time, brought to you by Graham Tire Company. Appreciate them, everything they're doing. Again, don't forget, check out their Memorial Day tire sale. 4 Lincoln locations and plenty more if you're listening on our free ticket app or on our streams across the Midwest. 0159 says, I just saw you guys on and in real life.
Oh, how about that?
And I texted,
driving by.
Yeah, but I don't know, walking by, driving by, something. But next time, wave in the window. Let us know that you're here.
Yeah, I do enjoy, every now and then. I see it at night, which is funny. And you'll see a lot like post-game shows. Like people will be driving by and they'll roll down the window and they're just kind of like pointing at their radio.
Yeah.
I love that interaction because, we're talking on air I know people are listening. It's always just like, but when you don't see them, it's nice to see the physical cues. So, if you're driving by, feel free to give a wave. I wave back every time.
It's true. He does. Speaking of post-game shows, we are going to call this the end of Old School, given that Nebraska is potentially one hit away from run-ruling Oklahoma State. It's 7-1 Nebraska. Bases are loaded with one out in the bottom of the 6th inning. Softball post-game coming your way. We'll keep you updated throughout the night when it comes to baseball post-game. If it's not tonight, it'll probably be at some point tomorrow then, with Nebraska and Michigan waiting to face off in the Big Ten quarterfinals. Essentially, Oklahoma State's going to make a pitching change here in the bottom of the 6th. 0159, I'm currently driving my car, so I couldn't jump out and wave at the window. Well, thank you for not doing that. Thank you for,
good driver's
for obeying the rules of the road. Keep it that way. But hey, next time, let us know near the stoplight or whatever, or if you are stopped, roll down the window, give us a wave. We will do our best to see you and wave back. All right, that'll do it for Old School. Big thanks to Graham Tyre. For Jay Foreman, for Harrison Arns, I'm Austin Norman. We'll talk to you again soon.
Are you looking for something different for lunch or dinner in Lincoln? Big 8 is now open at 1226 P Street, serving seafood boils and Asian cuisine. Get your hands messy with fresh, flavorful seafood boils, hot, cold, and made to share. Or enjoy classic Chinese and Asian dishes, perfect for lunch, dinner, or a night out with friends and family. Big flavors, generous portions, and a brand new dining experience. Big 8, now open in Lincoln.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a